My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines, and we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, the Bad, and the Hungy every week on the Voice of Wrestling Network.
Hello, Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network listeners. I am Jeff Hawkins, co-host of Shake Them Ropes, with a very special announcement. If it's been a while or you've never listened to us before, the original gang is back. Myself and Rob McCarran, back talking wrestling. We have no idea where this show's going to go, where we're going to keep any of the old bits or any of the old things in there. It's going to be a process. It's going to be a journey, and we'd like for you to come along with us. Only on Shake Them Ropes on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
What do you guys want to talk about?
You are listening to the Flagship Podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
The lines are blurred between the living and the dead. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? And I just watch a wrestling show ever in my life. I don't want the lines blurred between the living and the dead, Rich. I just want to watch guys wrestle.
Rich Crage.
He's wearing it.
He's wearing a shirt. It's a button-up shirt. It's blue and it's purple, and there are purple giraffes all over his fucking shirt. Apologize to me right now, everybody.
Rich, take that dub.
And we are live on the Flagship Podcast. I am Rich. He is Joe. Joe, what's happening? How are you?
Well, with the late start to the show today, I was able to sneak in the first hour of TNA Impact.
Oh.
On the AMC, which will be getting, of course, a full review on the Friday Impact review on Flagship, patreon.com, $5 tier. If you want to hear that review, last week's review, which people seem to love and were begging us basically to release to the public because the public needed to hear what I had to say. We did not do that. $5
tier, please. I think, was it for sale? I think it was for sale as low as $3. It was for sale as low as $3.
We should note that every $5 post we make is also for sale a la carte, Rich Crage, for $3. Same for the $10 pieces of content. A la carte for, how much are those? I don't remember.
Sometimes, mostly
$8,
eight, usually $8.
$7, something like that. $8. So, yeah, if you see something, look, if you don't want to subscribe, you don't want to make that commitment, right? But you see something interesting that you want to read or listen to, you could always purchase it a la carte at the discount rate. But of course, we recommend subscribing on the $10 tier, which gives you access to everything we do. And my God, have we been doing a lot. In addition to those Impact reviews every Friday, asterisk, we'll see how long that lasts.
Pending.
Dynamite reviews every Thursday. It seems like you've been pumping out a tour of the territories every 47 seconds or so. We've got, did you know that with this last Flagship Plus that I did, what was that, yesterday?
Well, we did 3 this week, so.
We did 3 this week.
I think it was
It was yesterday, yeah.
It was yesterday's, yep.
So Wednesday's Flagship Plus, which covered the potential New Japan Pro Wrestling Exodus, all of the news from the Super J Cast, Patreon, not the Super J Cup.
Well, you said it wrong one time, and I was like, well, he's going to catch himself and go, Joe, what the hell are you doing? Super J Cast. Then you did it again, and I was like, okay, there's no way he's gonna. And then I thought it was like a bit because you did it like 5 times. You're like, yeah, the Super J Cup Patreon, they do great work there. The Super J Cup, and I'm like, okay, stop saying it. This has to be a bit now.
Listen,
we're 5 or 6 different references in, but you had your mind in the gut. You were thinking, too busy worrying about Black Tiger and the whole crew from the '94 J Cup, and you got to start focusing on their.
All right. Well, you could be the 47th and last person to make that joke. That the 1994 Super J Cup now has a podcast.
I thought maybe you were way into the what was the one in Osaka Pro? I have a Blu-ray that's all of the Super J Cups. Yeah, the third or the fourth one.
Listen, Joel himself DM'd me and said, "Joe, I love you, but you called us the Super J Cup the entire time. I know everybody knows what you meant. It's not a big deal, but you're a buffoon." And how can I disagree?
It's impossible to argue. Impossible to argue. Yeah.
Impossible to argue. Sometimes you just have to wear it, and I will wear that one. But no, yesterday's Flagship Plus, where I discussed the news behind their paywall, which is an incredible value in paywall if you want New Japan news. Those guys break so much New Japan news, and a lot of it never breaks containment of our little bubble either. So you get a whole lot of New Japan scoops if you're into that. But on that Flagship Plus, where I discussed Evil giving notice and all of the other scooparoos that the Super J cast had, and I also discussed the 0-1 one-day tournament. That was Flagship Plus number 100. Can you believe that, Rich Craich?
That is, I'm a little surprised that it's gotten to 100 already. I'm also a little surprised that you knew that. Did you go and look for it, or how did that come to be?
Okay, so a little behind the curtain here. A little behind the curtain. I know the people like that when we do the behind the curtain. When you type in the tag, it tells you how many times the tag has been used.
Nice.
All right. that was Flagship Plus number 100, and just 3 this last week. I mean, you did a Flagship Plus on the TNA numbers. We're going to talk about those again today, and a little bit on the Raw ranking, and then a few days before that, I did a Flagship Plus covering Limitless. The Limitless Rumble show from last week, along with a Collision review and some 0-1 news and notes. So we said we were going to turn up the dial in 2026 and pump out more content. And we told people we weren't fucking around, and it wasn't a sales pitch, and it's not. So more promotions than ever being covered, and more content than ever being pumped out. Quite honestly, I think we were covering more promotions than anybody else to begin with. So,
and it's only going to be more. Yeah, it's only going to be more.
Well, look at this show we're about to do right here. I mean, we do AAA, CMLL, and really across the world. So, anyway, what was I even originally talking about? I don't remember.
The Impact. The Impact reviews. Impact reviews.
So there will be. Yeah. So I did watch the first hour tonight, and I have to say, the first half hour of Impact tonight was roughly a gazillion times better than the show last week. So I got to give them credit. They clearly did a better job this week. It even looked like the production still stinks. Don't get me wrong. And the backstage segments still have that awful, all right, my guest at this time. Like,
Gia Miller, my guest at this time shit. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
it's so
awful
bad.
Audio quality. But they used a different angle when the wrestlers were coming out. They're doing what they clearly understand the missed opportunity last week. And the opening match I thought was very good. The Mike Santana promo I thought was very good. I'll get into detail tomorrow on it, but and then the second half hour was fine by TNA standards, but again, better than anything that they had last week. So the Feast or Fired was just getting started when we got started with this show. So I'll watch the second half later and get that review done. And it sure, unless the second half is a total and complete disaster, it's going to be a much more positive review than it was last week for week 2 here. So $5 tier if people want to hear that. Again, $10 tier gets you everything. And fuck, man, there's a lot. So anyway, little plug-a-roo for the Patreon and a little teaser for the review tomorrow, which what's looking like a better episode of Impact. And I think we're going to start with TNA anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was going to say, and that makes that debut episode even more frustrating because and I think this was true from a lot of people that watched Impact for a while, is that we and the theme of your review was, they were what we thought they were. We knew that they sucked, but that was a different level of suck. I thought what last week, that was, now that we've had some time to reflect on it, and last week I was watching it live as it was going on, and it was, making waves as the show was going on, where everybody watching it was like, what is this? What is going on? Like, even your grifter class had a lot of trouble. I when we were done with our show, I listened to Conrad, Bischoff, and Raj Giri covering it. And, Bischoff was, he wasn't 10 toes in, but he was like, it was disappointing, and they have to format the show a little bit better. I think they could make definite improvement. It was one of those things where he was kind of, you could tell he definitely knew that it wasn't a very good show, but he didn't want to say it was a terrible show. It was stupid. It was awful. And that sort of thing. He was just like, it's got a tough start, but they can build from this and they can learn from this, like that sort of stuff.
Eric, you mean?
Eric, yes. Yeah. Raj was just kind of like, it was fine. It's like, just normal.
He wouldn't even go nearly as far. It's clear he didn't like it either, but as far as he would go was, he basically, and I'm paraphrasing, said, they've got some things that they need to clean up.
Yeah.
They've got some things that I would say so.
Yeah. Many. And it was funny because Conrad was just like, well, I got to tell you guys, I thought that show was a disaster. And they're all like, what? What do you mean? And he's like, well, it was the time everybody was watching Impact for the first time in a while, and they shit the fucking bed. And not just like, that bed was filled with shit. That bed was just overflowing with shit, because that was a horrible first step. So it makes the second week being like, okay, from what you've seen for the first hour or whatever, and who knows, we're doing this show as it's going live. Like, if it ends and you do your review and you're like, oh, that was just an okay show, or hey, that was actually kind of okay, it makes it that much more frustrating that first night, when you had months and months and months to plan and a huge runway and an idea, we have to do this. And yes, people are going to say, oh, the visa issues, that's not an excuse. You knew about these visa issues before. It's just baffling that they didn't put as their best foot forward in any way, shape, or form for that debut episode. And I think that leads in perfectly to discussing about the ratings, because the ratings came in for that episode.
Well, I don't know. Look, it's up in the air whether they knew about the visa issues, but here's the bottom line. They didn't advertise anyone.
There was no reason for anybody to watch that show.
Now, no, listen. They didn't advertise any of the visa talent for the TV show, which is a red flag, because a lot of their top talent requires visas.
Yeah.
Right? They did advertise them for the pay-per-view, though. So who knows there? But they were careful not to advertise any of those people for the TV show. But at the same time, they didn't rip up the script and rewrite everything until Thursday afternoon, which means they didn't get the final word on the visas until Thursday. So did they know about the visas all along? Were they blindsided by it on Thursday? Here's the bottom line. Whether they knew about the visas and scheduled people for the pay-per-view anyway, or whether they didn't know about either way, that's horrible. What are you doing? Like, how do you not know about the visas until literally the 11th hour? And if you did know about the visas, why did you write a pay-per-view that included people that needed visas that you weren't sure were going to be there? So there's really no defensible angle here for them. And as far as the whole Leon Slater thing, I think they're completely full of shit. If you look at the timeline of events with Leon Slater, okay, it was over the previous weekend where we first heard that he was going to be loaned out or given to WWE to work some of their shows. And then again, they didn't start rewriting the TV show or the pay-per-view until Thursday. Okay, the day of the show. And then it wasn't until after the fact that we knew about the other visa issues.
Yeah.
That then we started seeing reports. Oh, TNA, they knew Leon had a visa issue, so that's why he worked for WWE. That wasn't what none of the original reporting ever mentioned visas in regard to Leon Slater. Not until the other visa issues were known. So look, to me, I don't
like
buy
you
it.
said, the timeline, the difference of the pay-per-view versus the TV show is an important distinction there, because they said that Leon wasn't going to do the TV show, right?
I'm gonna give you the timeline right here.
Yeah, and I think that's a big distinguishing factor of, okay, what? So you thought all the visa issues were going to be solved by Saturday?
Do this while I'm talking. Pull up Leon Slater's cage match.
Okay.
Can you do that for me?
I can do that for you.
On January 3rd, I got the timeline, baby. On January 3rd, TNA first advertised Leon Slater versus Myron Reed for the TV show.
Okay.
Yep. That was on January 3rd. On January 6th, 3 days later, can you confirm this via the cage match, Rich? Leon Slater worked an NXT show. Can you look that up for me?
He did indeed. He was on NXT New Year's Evil against Oba Femi.
Where did that take place? In Europe or the United States?
Orlando, Florida.
Oh, let me write that down. Orlando, Florida.
Right.
Leon Slater worked for NXT. On January 9th, 3 days after that, TNA first advertises AJ Styles. Okay? On the 14th, now the 14th would be the day before the debut on AMC.
Correct.
Fightful reports that Myron Reed offered to work the match against Leon Slater, despite the fact that he was signing with AEW. Okay, and they reported that, and obviously at that point, TNA declined, and Leon Slater was already on the European tour, ready to work the SmackDown as a mystery opponent for an open challenge against Carmelo Hayes. So TNA figured, well, there's no point. You don't have to work the match because there is no match because we already loaned this guy out to WWE. Now, after the debut on AMC and after the other visa issues were then reported because none of the other visa people were able to work that show or the pay-per-view, after that fact, we get another report that Slater wasn't able to work the shows and work WWE because of visa issues, and TNA figured, we can't get him in the country anyway, so you may as well go work for WWE. This is where they're backtracking and full of shit. Did he not work in the United States 8 days before the TNA debut on TV
Absolutely
in Orlando?
100% did.
Right. And then they sent him to Europe at WWE's request because Daddy WWE asked for him. And they don't ever want to tell WWE no. Rich, what happened to the last set of executives that dared to tell WWE no?
They're not there anymore.
They don't work there anymore. Okay? Carlos Silva is never telling these people no. They own his soul. TNA is completely full of shit on the Leon Slater thing. Because if they had sent him to WWE because he had a visa issue, first of all, how did he work Orlando on the 6th? That's number one. Okay? Number two, why wasn't that reported initially? Why didn't they feed that to the reporters initially? They didn't tell the reporters he was working WWE because he had a visa issue. They told all the reporters, PW Insider, Fightful, they told the reporters that he was working WWE at the request of WWE, and they clearly thought that he'd be able to come back, and they continued advertising him for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, right. And that's again, that why didn't they thought that the visa issue was only going to take him out for that Thursday, but that by Saturday the visa issue would be fine, he could come back to America.
Because they're using, here's what happened here. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. They loaned him out to WWE. They had all these visa issues crop up and forced them to, and we know that they didn't know the visa issues were officially an issue until Thursday because that's when they rewrote the shows. They didn't rewrite the shows on Monday. They didn't rewrite the shows the previous weekend when they made the decision to send him to WWE. They rewrote the Thursday show on Thursday afternoon.
And rebooked the pay-per-view too on Thursday as well with Danny Ludon there and other people, yeah.
On Thursday afternoon. Okay? So this nonsense, what happened was they had the visa issues, which was embarrassment number one. The show was fucking terrible, which was embarrassment number two. And they were getting all kinds of bad PR from all ends. You had people mocking them for letting Leon Slater go work WWE instead of work their biggest weekend in years. So all of a sudden it comes out that it was because of visa issue. It's cover. It's a cover reason. They're trying to save face. If he had a visa issue, they would have said that to begin with to the same media outlets that later reported it was a visa issue. And this idea that, he was going to work SmackDown and then fly back in time for the pay-per-view. Well, we had people in our Discord look up the flights. And that would have been nearly impossible.
It would have been tough. It would have been tough.
The last flight coming out of there that would have gotten him back here in time for the pay-per-view would have gotten him back with, I think, about 4 hours to spare, which is doable. And in pro wrestling, that happens all, but it's cutting it real close. And that's the very first, that is get pinned in your match, grab your bag, hop in a fucking taxi, and get on a flight that's leaving in a half hour. That the best possible circumstances, he would have barely made it back for the pay-per-view. So, TNA is completely full of shit when they say, listen, they gave that guy to WWE, and that's what WWE thinks of them. What WWE thinks of them is our open challenger for the U.S. title on SmackDown is more important than your most important television show in the history of the company.
Even though he's contracted to you and not us.
But is he?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Is he? Because this has brought up some very obvious questions of, why didn't TNA just say no? Well, okay, they don't want,
because they're
they don't
fucking
want
piss babies, yeah.
Fire everybody.
Right.
And look, maybe maybe he isn't a TNA wrestler anymore. I mean, he's been working a lot of WWE shows. So maybe it's the fact they couldn't say no in that scenario.
Yeah,
maybe
do you actually know, now that
couldn't.
you made me look at his cage match, you know the last time he worked TNA?
When's the last time he worked TNA?
December 7th. In that time, he worked Saturday Night's Main Event, NXT, and Friday Night SmackDown. So he's worked 4 times with WWE since then, 3 of those in America, of course, and the one in London. And then, the last one is Impact on December 7th was the last time he worked TNA. And in between there's an NXT Deadline that he was a part of. He worked TNA Final Resolution. He worked NXT. So, he has been since December. So starting December, let's go with the month of December. He's worked TNA twice, and he's worked NXT/WWE 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
Yeah, it's an
interesting question.
Totally possible that he's now a WWE wrestler, or whatever the case may be. Contract buyout, dual contract. I don't know. That's all speculation. But I don't buy the story. I just don't buy the story that now. Well, here's what they're going to tell you. If anyone even pays any attention to what we're saying here, what they would probably say is, oh, well, when we sent him to the UK, then he couldn't get back, which would be their explanation for how he worked in Orlando on the 6th. And that's what they're going to say.
Right, he left and couldn't come back, yeah.
They're going to say, we sent him there to work SmackDown, but the plan was to have him back. We know it was going to, cutting it close, but we're going to have him back for the pay-per-view. I just don't buy it. I just think they're a sloppy shop. Well, they're clearly a sloppy shop if they were rewriting the show on Thursday afternoon. Because how do these visa issues just magically crop up at the last
That's
second?
the thing that I will not understand. There's no way. Maybe one person, the paperwork's kind of weird about them, but the fact that all of them, it all hits at the exact same time for a bunch of different talents up and down their roster, that doesn't jive with me.
No, it does not.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Yeah, one person, yes. Leon Slater's visa expired and the paperwork is, pending. That's one thing. But for a bunch of people that hit at the same time, that's just, I don't know. That's just not how it works.
It's just the timeline doesn't add up to the story that they're giving, which, by the way, is a retroactively changed story from the original. So there's a million red flags to that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's not super important because it's over. He didn't work either show. But it does raise the question of, does he even work for that company anymore? I think that's really the biggest thing to come out of that. So I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I don't
you're
know
good.
where
You're
you
good.
were going.
No, it's important. That's important to point out because I think it does. And I think overall, and this can be a theme of a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about in the show, that WWE's control of these different companies. With AAA, we're going to talk about it here in a little bit. And WWE's control of TNA and sort of how they're manipulating TNA and how they're using TNA and what TNA does for them and very little of what they do for TNA. And I think that debut on AMC and the fact that you and I both talked about this weeks and months ahead of time and why I was so shocked when the ratings number came out, which we're going to talk about here in a second, is that we both assumed that WWE was going to do whatever they could to help TNA and load up on this debut episode because it behooves them for TNA to be a big deal on AMC. Not that big of a deal. Not a big deal that's going to compete with them, but they're not going to. TNA's never going to compete with WWE on any level whatsoever, but enough of a deal that it can compete with Collision, that it can maybe get ratings that are near Dynamite or whatever. That's what we thought the intention was. We're going to help prop up this TNA thing, and we'll give them a bunch of guys for a couple of weeks or whatever. Maybe we'll give some guys for a month or so. So these numbers come in pretty decently high, and we can laugh at it, and we can send out gentle activity about, oh my God, it beat a Collision the last, month. Oh, it beat the average ratings of Dynamite over the last, even if it's just in the demos or even whatever. Like, that's kind of what I figured this whole thing was going to be. And then as we got closer and closer and closer to the show, and literally all WWE was going to offer was AJ Styles will appear, not going to wrestle. AJ Styles will appear, which is not a big deal. And we talked about that.
And I should note about that, like I said, he was advertised for the first time on the 9th, which was 2 Fridays ago. And then that weekend is when PW Insider reported that Leon Slater was being loaned out to WWE. So this idea, again, in the aftermath of the disaster where TNA was then telling the sheets, no, AJ wasn't a make good. He was just going to work it. Well, that timeline looks suspicious too, because AJ was announced one day before PW Insider announced that Leon Slater was going to Europe. So you can't sit there and tell us that they were both scheduled for the show, because they literally weren't. You added AJ right when Leon was pulled from the show.
Well, both people are telling you both. Everyone is telling you both stories, and both can't be true. It can't be WWE wanted Leon, so they sent AJ as a replacement. Oh, and also Leon has a visa issue. It's got to be,
right.
You know what I mean?
That's the other thing. Like,
you got to pick one, but yet the same people are reporting both things, and the same people are saying both things.
And listen,
it can't be both.
And that's not the fault of the reporters. They're being told by people in the company two different stories. And that's kind of my point here. Like, you're exactly, those are contradictions. First, he's not a makeup. But then he is. But then you're telling us you knew about the visa. Well, those two things directly contradict. They directly contradict by telling us they were both going to work the show, but you also knew the visa issue for Leon. No. You're telling us the Leon visa issue retrospectively, because it looks bad that you didn't work the show. So anyway.
So, I kind of figured that WWE was going to load up a little bit more. I thought there'd be more than just AJ Styles appears. We even theorized other, main roster talents or top NXT talents or something like that.
Ruka appeared.
That's right. Oh, I forgot Zarya and Sol Ruka were there too.
That's right.
Should and Candice Michelle, and they sent Candice Michelle too. So
it was Sol Ruka, and what's her name, Rich? Tell everybody who that is.
It's her. That's her. I can't believe it's her. Did you see her? Did you see her, Bully? I saw her, Bully. I saw her, Dave.
Wait a minute. Is Candice Michelle with WWE in some form?
I think she is let me see if she's got a Legends contract with WWE. I think she does, but let me double check. Let's see. Maybe not. I don't know. You know what? I'll be honest. I don't know, and I don't care enough to look. So, I don't know. Maybe they booked her under her own accord, and she's not actually a. I thought she was under a Legends.
I don't think she has anything to do with.
Okay, well, then she came on her own. So good for her. Even though she never worked TNA ever in her life. So they did not send Candice Michelle. They sent Sol Ruka, Zarya, and AJ Styles. And Zarya and Sol Ruka appeared. Zarya made a challenge, and AJ Styles appeared and cut a 30-second promo. Where he said, TNA, I don't want to waste any of your time. And then he left, and it's like, oh, okay. Like he was true to his word. He did not want to waste any of our time. He said, I don't want to waste your time. Let's get to the wrestling. And he got the fuck out of there. And we didn't get much wrestling after that. So, whatever. But that was, to me, it was a bit of a shock of like, oh, okay. So that's really, truly what they think of this relationship. It is a dumping ground for NXT people that they have nothing to do with. They don't know what to do with, or they want them to get some reps or whatever. So okay, fine, they'll send 2 stacks and fucking Sol Ruka occasionally, and just little stuff like this. We're gonna send those kind of people to you, but. Even though it's your debut on AMC, and even though it would benefit us in the narrative wise and in the PR wise to make this a successful show and to get people to watch the show, we really just do not give a fuck about it. We don't care about you even on that level. So fuck it. You can have AJ Styles and he can appear. He can't wrestle. He can appear. And even though he just did this like 5 months ago, he appeared, and it's not going to really matter that he appeared again, but he can appear on your show, and it didn't matter. I mean, we'll talk about the ratings here in a second. It just didn't matter. And they gave no reason for WWE fans to ever watch this show, the first debut or ever again. And I thought that, to me, it just showed truly where WWE sees TNA in this, and now we have to sort of adjust what we think that this relationship is. Now, you and I we know it's a one-sided relationship. Of course it is, but to me, I thought that there'd be at least a little bit of an attempt to try to make this TNA thing appear, even if it's, artificially propped up, make it appear that it's competitive with Dynamite and competitive with AEW and competitive on that sort of level. And they can't even be bothered to do that. They think so little of TNA, and the TNA is such a peon to them that they couldn't even bother to try to send any other talent. Just said, you know what, here's AJ and Zari and Sol Ruka. Okay, there you go. And that's it. And that's all they gave them. And I thought that was, to me, shocking. And it really, again, it just says what this relationship really is. To anybody who didn't already know.
Yeah, and they took talent.
So. Yeah. We're going to take one of the people that might actually grab eyeballs on your show. We're going to have him, but yeah, you can have AJ Styles appear. Great. And cut 30-second promo.
Talk for 30 seconds. Right.
Yeah. It's just, it's laughable. But all right, so here's the ratings. If you follow this on, I forget what day this dropped. I think Tuesday or Wednesday.
Monday or Tuesday?
I forget which day it was, but man, was this a roller coaster. So Brandon Thurston, WrestleNomics, patreon.com/WrestleNomics, posted that the rating for Thursday Night Impact was like 95,000 viewers and a 0.04 in the 18 to 49 demo, and everybody lost their minds going, oh my God, they only had 94 or 93. I forget. It was 90. I think it was 93,000. They had 93,000 people.
Wasn't it 95 because the ranking was 95th? That's
maybe
he was confused.
You're right. That might have been it. So yeah, it was 95,000 viewers or whatever, and everyone's like, "Whoa! Oh my God, that's impossible. That's that's such a low number." And people are kind of trying to figure out how to tackle that. And very quickly, Brandon took that down and said, "Wait, that's not the actual number." And then Dave Meltzer on Twitter was like, "Oh no, that's not the number. It's probably closer to 200,000 or whatever." And then PW Torch reported this. So PW Torch getting in the mix here. Wade Keller reported that the January 15th debut of TNA Thursday Night Impact on AMC averaged 173,000 viewers and a 0.04 in the 18 to 49 demo. And then quickly that was confirmed by a bunch of other people, and that is the number that is now settled on. So that is a shocking number to me, because I think it was either the week before or the previous, you were telling me, what do I think it's going to do? What do you think it's going to do? Mm-hmm. And I kept telling you, I think it's going to get over 200,000. I think it's going to be somewhere in that Collision range, where Collision can sit sometimes, especially when it's got competition, somewhere in that 200 to 300 to maybe 400,000, but probably not. Probably more in the 200 to 350 or whatever. You
settled in the 200s based on the primetime average of AMC, and then giving them a little extra.
The primetime average of AMC is around 200,000. Plus, it's wrestling, so you'll get a little extra. Plus, it's their debut, and there'll be some big names on it or whatever. So yeah, it'll be 250. I think is eventually what I settled on. 250,000 viewers, and yeah, the 173,000 is. It's a terrible number. I've seen some people try to spin it as an okay number, or it's a number you can kind of build on, and I don't know what people are fucking lost about what the hell happens with these debuts and the numbers that they do. And I is it going to do like a 50% drop? Is it going to be 50,000 viewers this week no, I don't think so. But the fact that you're underneath for your debut, you're underneath the AMC's primetime average already for a live sporting event, I think is pretty troubling. And the fact that this was the debut at 173,000, I think is pretty troubling. Now, where they're going to settle, we'll talk about here in a little bit. But what did you make of that 173,000 on the 0.04 and the 18 to 49, which wasn't a bad demo number overall? That's kind of an okay-ish demo number, but that average viewer number is pretty ghastly, 173,000 for that debut.
Well, I thought Brandon's mistake actually greatly works in their favor, because everybody's seeing 173 after thinking it was 95, which would be we can't even air this next week level number. It kind of makes the 173 look better. Whereas if 173 was the initially reported number, I think it wouldn't receive the same level of shock and mockery that the 95 got. But the 173 ended up being a relief. You know what I mean? Like, psychologically, it looks a lot better because everybody thought it was 95,000. So from that standpoint, I thought they caught a little break with Brandon making the mistake at first. The 0.04, probably in the range we would have thought. Here's the problem with the 173. If this show sees the kind of viewership loss that pro wrestling shows typically do over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, the same patterns, and this is going to fall right into the range of what they were doing on Access the last time we had access to those numbers, which was right around 100,000.
Yeah, so I got the, real quick here. So they dropped off February 2024 is when we stopped getting ratings from Access. But between December 31st,
about 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago, yeah. So
a little less than 2 years ago.
Yeah, so between December 31st, 2019 and February 15th, 2024, the show averaged 122,000 viewers and a 0.03 rating on the 18 to 49. Now that's about a 4 year average. Yeah, that's about a 4 year average, and those numbers were by 2022 and 2023. Those numbers were falling even more. I mean, the 2019 to 2020, they were doing a little bit better in that era, and then it started to kind of trickle down. But overall, in that 4 year range, 122 and a 0.03
is the 4 year average. I could tell you that, like you're saying, later stage over the course of those 4 years when WrestleNomics got in the mix and Brandon was getting a hold of both the Impact and New Japan numbers, that there were weeks where they were well below 100,000. There were weeks where Impact was doing 70,000, 60,000. And then other weeks where they would do randomly 130,000. Because when you're dealing with viewership numbers that low, the fluctuations can appear to be massive within relative to what they are because, the inaccuracy of the estimates and everything else. But that speaks to my point. If this show has the same drop-off that we've seen typical of other wrestling debuts, they're going to fall and be in the range of what they were doing on Axis. They're going to be doing 0.02s, 0.03s at best. And they're going to be doing between 100, 120,000 viewers, probably drop under 100 some weeks. So, excuse me, that's the bad news. The other thing that the other factor that could be in play, and I know you talked about this too on the Flagship Plus, is this viewership could be so low that it might not drop. This could be close to what the settle point is going to be anyway, because this show did such low viewership that it's entirely possible that they didn't draw all of those curiosity eyeballs that we thought they were going to draw. And this might just be where they live. That is possible. That is a possibility here. I know in our bubble, it seemed like everybody gave it a chance, but that's not a significant sample size. For these type of numbers to be drastically affected, you have to have more of a mainstream, let me go take a look at this. And I'm not so sure they had that with the incredible small level of buzz that we had going into this. This show had no buzz going in. Nobody was talking about this show.
Yeah, our little circle, our little world definitely checked it out. But yeah, who
knows if that makes a statistical difference?
It's probably an insignificant number in totality.
And if so, that's good news for them. If this is where they live, look, no one knows what AMC's expectations are. But if 173 and a 0.04 is where they live, that's you can call that collision range. Even though that's a bad collision number, that's a low-end collision number, but it's at least collision range. If they experience that typical drop-off over the next 3 weeks, and we're going to find out, I guess, this Monday, then this move to AMC is essentially a wash, other than whatever money they're making, which we assume is an ad split or a very small amount of guaranteed money. So,
I would say after watching that show last week, and I don't know your thought, and again, I don't know anything, but seeing how packed that show was with ads, and the fact that they only are advertising 3 matches every single week, and I don't know if this week's going to have 3 matches, but I know they only advertise 3 for this week. I feel like ad split has got to be the way it's going, right? Because that thing was filled with ads. I don't know if you watched, because I know you watched on demand, so I don't know if you just skipped through all the ads, so if you really felt it. But just watching it, I had it on my DVR and I was watching it as we were doing this show too. So I went back and watched it again. You felt those ads. I mean, it would be a match would start and there'd be an ad. The match would get going for a little bit and then there'd be an ad. There'd be a promo and then there'd be an ad. And they were long ad breaks too. Yeah. So that led me to believe, okay, this is probably what we think it is, because they're just stuffing this thing with as many ads as humanly possible to try to recoup and make some money with this thing.
I don't know the minutes. I don't know the total minutes of the ads, and I don't know what the standard is for an hour of cable television. I'm sure somebody could find that out if they dug a little bit. The other thing that's interesting about the rating was Dave Meltzer noted this, and David Bixenspan noted this to me too. And remember, his dad worked in this business, so he knows what he's talking about. They averaged it was 1.13 viewers per home, which is minuscule. I mean, for a wrestling show, that's very low. And I think Meltzer talked about that as well. So that's not a good sign either. This was a show that people were watching very much alone. Okay, just like one person in the house.
Thank God. Can you imagine watching this with other humans?
Yeah. So, I mean, that was not encouraging either. Tonight, I noticed one thing that when it comes to the ads was there was a lot of ads. Nearly every commercial break, there was a Dawn dishwashing liquid commercial and a Cascade, like dishwasher liquid commercial. Do they think housewives are watching this thing? I think like 38-year-old housewives are the smallest possible demo of people who'd be tuning into Thursday Night Impact at 9:00 at night. But what that tells me is it feels like these are just general ad buys for the network.
For the network,
as opposed to people, because those are ads you would expect to see on AMC, right? When there's some movie playing or whatever. But you know, Cascade and Dawn and things like that, those are not.
Well, networks learned a long time ago.
Ad buys.
Yeah, I mean, the networks learned long time ago. Bonnie Hammer and NBCU, I mean, they figured that out many moons ago, because when we all grew up, wrestling commercials and the ads that wrestling shows were awful. You know, and they were the JVC Kaboom box.
Yeah.
They were Lugs boot and shoes with attitudes.
Yep.
They were
karate fighters,
like Stridex pads, you know.
A lot of Skittles.
a lot of Skittles. M&Ms, Skittles, M&Ms. Yeah. It was just that was all you got, was like that. And then, you know, that buys were terrible and the rates were horrible.
Don't forget the Legal Speed with like the Stacker 2. And
Stacker 2. Yeah. Who could forget Stacker 2? Yeah, there was. Oh, God. What was the. There was always something at Nitro. There would always be something on Nitro, and I'm blanking. I'll figure it out at some point. I forget what it was. What the hell was it? I'll remember, but it was always the same.
A quick side. I remember when I was working as a line cook at Red Lobster a million years ago, right? And all of the servers at this Red Lobster would pop those Stacker 2s. And because they'd be working double shifts on a Saturday, and they would just eat these fucking, what are now illegal fucking speed pills.
Thankfully, yeah.
Like candy, like all through the shift, you know? And we had this big controversy because this old lady, someone eating there, like almost died, and they traced it back, and someone dropped like those Stacker 2s and like her shrimp scampi or whatever. Oh my God. Yeah, it was this whole thing, like, and it was on the news and in the papers and everything. It's probably too long ago to look up, but I'll never forget that. And it was this whole thing, and then they were like, the company like banned use of that shit inside the restaurant and everything. It was this whole thing. You can't even, like, those aren't legal anymore, right? Like, I don't even see those anymore.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I think you probably still can find them in some weird ways, but maybe not in the same way that they were.
Form now, right? It's like,
I think the 5-hour energies are a lot less like crazy though. Because I think even even your normal energy drink, I think is a little less than, because those Stacker 2s were, like you said, they were just literal speed, right?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
So they worked. Your guys were.
I mean,
the guys doing double shifts did them pretty well.
For that age bracket at that time, people thought they worked. Like for your typical 18 to 25-year-old or whatever, like that, they were. Yeah, I mean, it was all the fucking rage. At least in the restaurant I worked in, and in my group of friends, like, you know, I never did that shit. You know me, I'm a fucking nerd. I don't do anything. I never took a drag off a cigarette in my life. Like, I've never had a sip of alcohol. So the last thing I was going to do was take fucking pills that I thought were going to blow my heart up. You know, I wasn't. You know,
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
Well, the boner pills are something different.
Okay. Listen, I just want to say.
I'll do what I got to do to get those skin ripping boners. Okay. I got no problem with that.
You have limits. You have limits, and skin ripping boners is not the limit.
That's true. You know, I'm Mr. Clean living until it comes time to pop a Rhino 10,000. You know, my curiosity is piqued if you sell me a boner pill in a hologram package that has a rhino on the cover. Listen, how can you not try that?
Well, I always forgot to ask, was that behind the counter or next to the counter? Like, were you able to take it off of a hook in front of the counter, or did you have to ask the guy, hey, can I get that Rhino 20? What was that?
The boner pills or the
boner pill? The boner pill.
Oh, the boner pills. No, they're like You get them in the gas station. They're like,
But did you have to ask the guy? Was it behind the counter and the guy had to get it for you, or was it just hanging up on a hook like next to the counter?
I think they're behind the counter. You can get them in like adult bookstores too, but I just like order them off fucking Amazon.
I thought you like went to your local Citgo station and got the Rhino.
The first time I took one is I was with TLB in an adult novelty store.
And you thought it'd be a good bit. You thought it was a good bit.
She thought, I'm going to tell you what happened. I've told this story, but I'll tell it again because you clearly forgot. So we were just, goofing around as a couples do in these kind of stores, buying some gimmicks, and we get to the counter to pay, and she pointed them out and made this whole thing to try to embarrass me. She was like, "Oh, honey, that problem you've been having, that might help." Like she was doing it as a bit. You see what I'm saying? And then I went with it and we just bought the pill. And then we got it home and I didn't even have any intention of trying it. But then I was like, we have the thing. It costs like $23. I may as well fucking see what it does. And I took the pill and I really thought it was a mistake because I was sweating. My face was beet red. My skin was purple. But let me tell you, I had the most skin-ripping fucking boner.
So it worked.
It worked. It absolutely worked. And not only that, like this was a perpetual boner that didn't go away for like 18 hours. Like it was just a little breeze, rub against the table, anything. Take a piss and just touch myself. Forget it. And it was just, there it was again, this fucking incredible Hulk boner. So yeah. Then I was like, wow, I didn't realize these things work. So, I indulge now and then. Yeah,
because I didn't know if you like swagger walk into your gas that you fill up your car and you go in as it's filling up or whatever, and you grab grab a Coke Z and you go, let me take a Rhino 10,000 back there, sir. Let me get a scratch off. Let me get the little auto and I get a Rhino 1020 if you don't mind. So
here's the thing: they don't always work. Like sometimes you'll take one and
I've heard they're like placebos. There's sometimes there are placebos in there or sugar pills or whatever.
Here's the thing: you always get the intense headache. That unfortunately you always get. You get like all the
Well, I already have high blood pressure, so I'm definitely not going to be taking a Rhino.
That's
so I'm going to stay away from that.
So you get all the bad side effects, but it doesn't always work. And then I read up on it, and here's how it works. What they do, because it's obviously not approved by the FDA in any way, shape, or form. Okay, in fact, they.
What about the current FDA? It might be approved by the current FDA.
No politics. So what they'll do is, like every fifth or sixth pill, they'll put the drug that comes in Viagra or Cialis in the pill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's almost like if you're like me and you get lucky, you're going to be like, holy shit, these things are great. And then you're going to go buy more. You see what I'm saying? But they don't put them in every pill because when the FDA or the government tests them, again, it's luck of the draw. If they get one of the ones that don't have the prescription drug in it, they can't pull it off the shelves because it's just herbs and shit like that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
It's got horny goat weed and all that weird shit.
All kinds of fucking weird shit. Like. And then what happens is every now and then they do get caught by the FDA. And that's why they have to then they just change the name. It goes from Rhino 10,000 to Rhino 20,000 or Rhino 100,000. And then they just
Tiger, then they do Tiger 10,000 or whatever. Yeah, they're just different animal and then a number.
So then they hit a different animal, a different hologram, and then the old ones get pulled off the shelves, and then they just redistribute the same fucking thing under a different name to get around the law. So it's a constant.
It's pretty beautiful. It's pretty beautiful. I love it.
It's an incredible and now with like Blue Chew and Friday
and
plans and him, like with all these now, you shouldn't even like. There's no reason to mess with like the shady gas station pills that are coming from like some weird country in Asia where nothing's regulated, because you could just get I don't know how to phrase it, like ones that are like more that are legitimately legal, like through your phone now, like commercials on SportsCenter, and they're like, oh, use this QR code for Friday plans, and then like you talk to a quote unquote doctor on your phone,
right?
through a text message for like 30 seconds. Like some doctor, and I guess it's a real doctor, but it's like some guy that's just gonna.
Sure, yeah.
It has. I mean, for these companies, I believe it, but it's probably not like a great doctor. And they'll just ask you, "Oh yeah, you having trouble getting a boner?" And you answer yes, and then they'll ask you, "Oh, do you have heart problems?" And you answer no, and then they're just like, "All right, cool, we'll send you." Like they don't physically examine you, obviously, or make sure that you're telling the truth. And then
make sure you mention the discreet package, because every time we had to do the hymns read, we had to, which they don't sponsor us anymore. We're giving them a free ad here, but you went with Friday, whatever the hell the other one was called.
Friday plans.
Yeah, they always made sure to mention, and they were like, make sure you mention the discreet package. And I'm like, okay, like I don't think anyone's gonna care that much. And like have you ever like walked by someone's house and been like, oh, I wonder what's on that? Like I maybe other people do. I don't know. But if what does your package have on it anyway that would make people go like, whoa, well, Tim's got a problem with a boner. Unbelievable. Like
I think in the case of Friday plans, when the package comes with a giant cock on the package.
Oh, well,
it's
well, don't have the giant cock on the package.
They don't. They send you discreet packaging.
Discreet packaging, I guess.
I think. I've never, imbibed. But yeah. So that's how it works. And I think these companies now do actually legitimately have the proper drugs with the proper dosage. That's the other thing. These sketchy gas station pills, you don't know what kind of dosage
you have no idea what the people of Myanmar, Burma are putting in that thing.
So they could just be.
I know it's not called Burma anymore. Don't correct me. I know it's not Burma anymore. But
so it's like, at least with like Blue Chew, because technically they're using a doctor and technically it's a prescription. It's a much safer option if you're a boner pill kind of guy.
Yeah.
So those I don't think But again, listen, it's like the problem is these any of these companies, they're not for people with legit ED problems, because if you have a legit ED problem, you're gonna go to your fucking doctor and get a real prescription. These are for goofballs like me who just want to play with the pills and get like 120% boner and laugh about it with their wife or whatever, So eventually a bunch of people will die. And these will all, here's about mine. I'll tie this all back together. Eventually a bunch of guys will have heart attacks and they'll be banned like Stacker 2s. And that's where we'll be at. There will be no more Blue Chew and Friday plans. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I'll see. Yeah, we had. I think we talked about this a couple of months ago, and we pointed out that the doctor could be like, because we were like, oh, it's probably a doctor, but then I was like, it could be like any kind of. It could be a PhD, it could be a podiatrist, it could be, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't necessarily have to be a doctor that specializes in this certain thing. It's just and doctor, like you're saying, they're probably. It definitely is a doctor, but God only knows what that doctor's specialty is, because they don't really have to. They basically, you answer those two questions, and they're like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever, fine." But you're right, something will happen.
Someone's saying in the chat, then they send that form to a pharmacist, and then they just fucking mail it to you.
Yeah, they don't care,
because all the pharmacist needs is a doctor's signature, right. and then you're good. I have a package of some sketchy ones here. Hold on.
Oh yeah, let's do it. How we got here, by the way, is making fun of what wrestling ads used to be, and I will circle back to my Bonnie Hammer discussion here in a second. So
I don't have the box anymore, but I got this package, and they're like these green pills, and they got like fucking herbs in them. I got this off Amazon because it was the one that had like 3.5 stars versus 1.5 stars.
Oh my god! So 3.5 is good in the star range for these things.
Oh yeah, like if you go on Amazon and look at the dick pills, like they all have awful, like all it did was give me a headache, bro.
I love the guy who takes that pill. He 24 hours later, he's like, God damn it. He sits down. Like, I gotta write a fucking review. This thing sucked. Like he waited. He sat there. He's looking. He's kind of touching it a little bit. He's telling his lady, yeah, why don't you give it I don't know, give it like yeah, I took the pill. Yeah, why don't you try, use your mouth, or, something like that.
Yeah.
And nothing's happening. And
use your mouth.
And he's just like so pissed.
Rich the charmer.
Wakes up the next day, pours his cup of coffee, gets on his computer. That damn thing didn't work at all. Motherfucker, yeah.
Hey, yo, it ain't gonna suck itself. Use your mouth. So I don't have the box anymore, unfortunately. But when I got an email from Amazon like months later saying that this was recalled, and that I should destroy them. So I remember that I still had like So, but there is a little sticker on the back of like the punch, because it's like a non-aspirin, but like where you have to punch it through the foil to open it up. So on the back of that package, there's a sticker that says, "Hello, thy chosen one. Email us at info@integrityproducts.org."
I'm going to integrityproducts.com.
Well, again, they're out of business. Remember, so for your free package, so you can get a free package. See, I was a chosen one, and I won a free package of these pills that were pulled from Amazon, and I was warned to destroy. But I can get a free package if I just send an email to these guys. Yeah, I don't know.
You know what they're doing here? You want a little trick behind the Amazon game? Amazon doesn't give you. If you're a seller on Amazon, you get no customer data. You don't know. It's all obscured. You don't know the email. You don't know the address. You don't know anything about the person you send it to.
Oh,
so
what you're laying down.
Fill out a little form with your name, your address, your email. Now they can add you to their system, and now they actually know who is buying their products. So
right. So they're willing to give me a free package of these pills that don't work
to add you to their ecosystem.
To get my information.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's I think you're on the right track there.
No, I know. Trust me. I'm aware.
So
no, not for boner pill. No, not for boner.
No,
I know.
No, I'm really picking up what you're laying down now. This is Rich Craich is very familiar with this hustle. Okay, I got you.
Got to do it.
I got you.
Scan the QR code and give us a review. That little. Anytime you open up an Amazon package, particularly if it's from some weird ass company or whatever, more times than not, there'll be something in there.
Right.
Review us here. Fill this out and get a free this. Do this and get this. Because they got to pull you away from the Amazon ecosystem.
So you can't do buy one get one free barbells, but these guys can do buy one get one free boner pills in order to get the information.
Yeah.
Because most guys are going to look at that and go, "Oh, fuck, I'll take a free box."
Of course, yeah, right.
You kidding me? That's how many pills are in this thing? 10, 20 pills. That's 20 more boners. That's 20 more boners.
So now is this one where there's multiple pills in the one? Now is this one still the same thing as the Rhino, where like half of them aren't going to work?
I think so. I will say that until I got that email and stopped taking them,
right? Smart, yeah.
They were all right. I mean, they
I can't believe you're still regularly taking these things.
No, not. I mean,
not the recalled ones. In general, you're still regularly taking these pills.
Regularly is not accurate. I would say that
occasionally.
I don't even know. Okay, I'll give you the circumstances of which I take them. Okay, let's say me and TLB have just been on a fucking heater. I'm talking 7-8 straight days, multiple times. I'm a man. I'm not a machine. All right, Rich Craich. Okay, I'm getting up there. I'm not in my 20s. So if we're on a heater, and I notice that on like day 6, 7, or 8, that I'm only rocking like an 80%er, will I go pop one of these potentially fatal pills to give myself 100%er? You're damn right I will. I want to please my wife and please myself. So I wouldn't even say occasionally. I would say, I don't know, a couple times a year when it's, when you're just looking for the extra boost. How's that? Is that fair?
That's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's not like,
I mean, it's not. It's terrible, but yeah, sure.
It's not like she gives me the look when she comes home from work and I'm running over to, pop one out of the foil. It's like, it's got to be when it's like
foil. These come in foil?
Well, no, like I said, they come in like a pill package where you got to pop it.
Oh,
in the
I
foil
see.
in the
I
back.
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
You see, can you hear it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So these I remembered I had laying around because I obviously got scared by the email.
Yeah, get rid of those, please, because you're gonna be stupid one day and be like,
Well, I mean, I only have
just
5
get rid
left,
of them.
So
just
I took 15 of them. I took 15 of them. So it's like,
okay, this is more than occasional. This sounds a lot. This sounds like you're taking too many of these.
I'm not taking. I'm telling you, it's only when we're on a heater. It's you know what I'm talking about.
15 boner pills?
Not at once.
No. I mean, like how many? Okay.
I don't know. I probably bought them like 2 or 3 years ago.
It seems like a lot.
Do the math.
I think that is more boner pills than most people have taken in their lives.
Oh, no way. Not a chance. Oh, you're wrong about that. There's a whole boner pill culture. You're crazy. That's definitely not the truth.
Wait, so I said like you think boner pill culture represents most of people?
No, but I'm saying You're saying
I'm saying your 15 boner pills are way more than most human beings have ever taken. You see it as a normal thing. That's a normal amount of boner pills to take.
Over the course of several years. I mean, again, I'm not 22 years old, Rich Craig.
I get it.
Know?
I get it.
It's, yeah, you understand. You know? I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know. Listen, this
you
is
do
all
you.
her
You know
fault.
what? You do you, man.
This is all her fault when she bought that rhino to embarrass me in front of the very cute counter girl at the fucking adult bookstore. She didn't know the monster she created because it worked so well. You know, I should have if I would have gotten a bad one that night,
it'd have been over.
Yeah, it would have been over. I'd be like, all right, these, as we suspected, these are bullshit, right? But it was incredible. I mean, she was calling me all day from work. She's like, do you still have a boner? I'm like, yeah, it won't go away. It's incredible. This is great.
So
she's like, how long before you need to go to the ER? I'm like, don't worry about it. Just go, get home already. You know?
And are we Frank Thomas commercialing this well? The Nugenics commercial, and she'll enjoy it too. I think it's a little. She's created this monster, and is she okay with the monster as well?
She doesn't even. I don't even think she knows that I take them. I don't even know.
Oh, I see. I see.
It's not like
she can't tell the difference. Oh, this is boner pill Joe versus normal Joe.
How would she know? Like, listen, if we just have a spontaneous session in the night, it's not like I'm stopping and running downstairs to take
1 second to stay right there. Yeah.
Right, because 99% of the time, I'm not even thinking about the pills. But if it's like I said, if we're on a heater, and you know what I'm telling you, when you get on a heater, all right? If we're on a heater, and I'm not feeling super confident about day number 9, maybe in the afternoon, I get my suggested 24 ounces of water. And,
that's good. I'm glad they suggest water.
And then chug it down just in case. If I'm getting flirtatious texts from her, and I'm like, oh, man, what does she want from me? It's been like a week straight here, and twice last Wednesday. I can't keep up with this woman. Then maybe, I'll go pop one, just in case. It really backfires when she comes home and she's like, the worst fucking day at work, and I'm like, oh god, now I'm gonna have a headache for a day and a half for no reason.
She walks home, grabs a pint of ice cream, sits on the couch, and you're like, well, fuck, what am I gonna do with this?
I'm like, shit, I misread this one. And it's like,
now I can't pee without it.
Yeah. So half these pills didn't even get put to use because it's like I'm guessing. Anyway.
So anyway, Bonnie Hammer decided to sell ads for the entire network and not wrestling. For this exact conversation that we just had, said it would behoove us as a network to not sell wrestling ads and just sell ads as a network and then plop decent ads into wrestling and just tell people. So that is likely what AMC is doing with Dawn Dish Soap, because I doubt Dawn Dish Soap said, oh, we need some of that. Agent Zero is going to be on the show. Yeah, we need to definitely make sure our product is neck and neck with the Elegance brand. So
here's what I want you to do.
I will not take one of these. I will not take one of these.
No. Oh. You should. What percentage of our audience in the chat right now is male? Probably 90%, right?
I would say that's probably accurate, yeah.
Put a poll up. It's anonymous. Ask how many of you have ever taken a boner pill.
All right.
It's a yes or no question. I want to see. Put that poll up in the chat.
All right. And we'll see if I'm wrong, yeah.
You're on a heater sometimes. Or she's like, oh, my friend from college is coming this weekend. All right, just in case. There you go. All right. Have you ever taken a boner pill? There's going
to be some liars. These people are lying, I bet. We'll see.
Why would they lie? It's completely anonymous.
I don't know.
What would be the point of lying?
I guess it's true. We would never know.
All right. You know what? The answer is not 0, sir. It's already 38% yes. So see?
It's higher than I thought it'd be. I'll admit.
Well, who do you think's buying them? I mean, they're not for sale because no one's buying them. Do you really think the Blue Chew, Hims, and Friday Plans industry isn't making money hand on top of fist?
I think I'm more. Well, here I guess here's my problem. I I don't see them as the same, and they probably are the same, and it's just good marketing. I don't see what you take, the Amazon blister packs that must be destroyed, and Blue Chews and Hims is the same. Although I probably should. They're probably the exact same things. But marketing has made one of them seem, what Hims is like these brown backgrounds and these like people, and they're like just lightly placing it on their tongue, and then they're kissing, you know what I mean? Like, whereas like the Tiger 820 or whatever, like you said, is a hologram at a gas station, but they're likely the same thing.
It's likely the same thing. And in like Hims, it's like these super hot people. Like, in reality, the guy taking Hims is a guy who hasn't touched a woman or a man in 15 years, and he's taking his Hims before he goes to the local glory hole at the adult bookstore. Like, that's the guy taking Hims. It's not the guy in the commercial who has the smoking hot wife, and they have a date that night, and they're like, tee-hee, I'm going to take a Hims. No, that's not who's taking
lightly
the Hims.
Place it on the tongue. Like, there's the woman places it on the tongue, and then they kind of kiss or whatever it is. Like, get out of here. The mints, the Hims mints. Have you seen those? It's like a little mint that you can pop. Yeah.
I mean, it's some guy who's
the glory hole.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly who's taking it. I mean, let's be honest.
It's the type of people that when you drive by an adult bookstore on the highway, and you go, and there's like 6 cars in there, and you're like, who are those people? I would love to see those people. Yeah.
You're like, none of those guys own a DVD player. What are they really doing?
Right.
That's what's happening. Okay, that's who's taking Hims. They're popping a fucking Friday plans before they go to the highway adult bookstore.
I can't imagine why Hims doesn't want to sponsor our show anymore after we
right.
after we say who the
yeah. So yes, now that you're looking at it that way, can you agree that there's people?
Okay, I would agree. Yeah, see, in my mind, I'm thinking them as two separate things. I was saying I don't think as many people are taking gas station / Amazon blister packs that must be destroyed.
Well, why do they keep restocking them?
You got a good point there. Yeah.
Okay. Why do they keep restocking them? Now, should I be more responsible and just scan the QR code the next time I'm watching SportsCenter and just get the regulated ones with the proper dosage? Probably. But I don't know. It was before that really existed. When I, what I mean?
And you like to live on the edge. You like to live on the edge, even though.
I probably bought this pack like 3 years ago, which means I haven't taken one in ages because I haven't taken one since I got the email. So, much like the Coke Z's, I think it's being greatly exaggerated. A sweatpants wearing strip club patron. Yes, that's who's taking these pills. Yep. That's exactly who's taking these pills. I had someone say that to me once. We went to all right, listen, I don't know if Biss is listening this week, but we went to the Landing Strip in Austin one time, me and TLB, on her birthday. It's near an airport, Rich. That's why it's called the Landing Strip.
Yeah.
Don't get dirty.
Every airport
yes
has used to. You probably used to. I think probably less than there used to be, but and there's one in Chicago too called the Landing Strip. Yeah, classic.
So she's just paying this stripper. I mean, she's so into this stripper, and she's just throwing money at her, and the stripper's telling me to spank her and everything. And the group of guys next to us, he was like, "Bro," he's like, "Why you wearing jeans?" I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm here with my wife. He's like, "You got to wear the sweatpants." And they were all like in their joggers. And he was like schooling me on how I incorrectly showed up to the strip. I didn't even get a lap dance that night. My wife was doing all that. But this guy was like, he was infuriated that I wasn't
because the boner comfort comes better in the sweatpants than the jeans.
Well,
I guess.
Yes, Rich. It's like the better. Yeah. So he was like mad at me. He's like, "Don't ever come here again."
The like, bad etiquette. How dare you?
Like, yeah. Meanwhile, TLB's like going to the ATM friend. I'm like, "Listen, you got to chill out. You got to calm down. I know it's your birthday, but we gotta relax here. The ladies love it. Yeah, it's a great great time for the ladies. So I do not like them. The nurse loves them. I'm not a big strip club guy.
The nurse loves them. The nurse thinks it's fantastic.
They love it. They love it.
Well, and then because they gas her up too. That's the other problem too. The other ladies they're like chomping their gum. It's like
they know.
Alexis with 2K. She's like, "You should stop doing this. You make a lot of money." You know what I mean? It's like you got good boobs. Get out of here. It's like
they spot a mark
grabbing
a mile
her boobs
away.
and start.
Yeah.
No, like they gas her up and be like, "Oh, you're hot. Like you should be a stripper too." And they're like, they're looking at her boobs and touching them. And, it's just like, oh man, they're just gassing her up, and then she's just tossing 20s left and right.
They spot the mark. They know what they're doing. Because they come up to me or you, and we're just like, nah, get out of here. I'm milking my Coke Z, and then they know immediately we're not a mark, so they quickly realize that the wife is the mark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, that's TNA.
Yeah.
Total nonstop action, not tits and ass. You might.
That's all the TNA topics. We got it all.
No, we got Genesis.
Oh, okay.
We got
Genesis.
Wow, yeah, let's talk.
Or as Santino Morella calls it, Genesis.
Genesis. Santino Morella.
Tomorrow night on Genesis.
Oh my God, TNA Genesis 2026. I'm done. You can knock yourself out with TNA moving forward. I'm calling it.
Why do you always say this?
I'm calling it.
You didn't like Genesis?
I did not like Genesis. No.
You didn't?
Nah.
Oh, I thought you were going to like Genesis.
Nah, not really.
Or let me put it this way. I thought you weren't going to hate Genesis. I think that's more of a fair statement.
I think I didn't. I don't know if I hated it. It was the 1-2 punch of the debut of Impact and then this. It's just it's not a serious company, and I shouldn't be watching it. There's too much other wrestling to watch in my life. But maybe I didn't hate it. There was some things that absolutely sucked on the show. But I guess all in all, it was fine. Now that I'm reading through the card and remembering, it was fine. The problem is there was two drizzling, one horrific match, one of the worst matches I'll ever see. So that dragged things down. And then another match that I absolutely hated. But let's go. We'll start with the main event and then we'll work our way through the show. So Mike Santana defeats Frankie Kazarian. TNA World Title Texas Death Match with Nick Nemeth as a special guest referee and wink, wink, nudge, nudge, ha, ha, ha. He's wearing short shorts like he's Shawn Michaels or whatever. Oh, it's so funny. It's so clever. This was the Texas Death Match stipulation's always awful, and fans just don't get it anymore. They never really did, but especially modern fans just don't get it because they could tell you 1,000 times it's a 3 count and then a 10 count. But that first time Mike Santana put Frankie Kazarian down, 1, 2, 3, they went, ah! It was like, no. Like Nemeth had to go, no, 1, 2. And it's just like, oh, God. It's like these last man standing matches. It's just like, I don't want to watch Nick Nemeth count to 6. If you want to, knock yourself out. I don't. And then it was very plundery. And a lot of the plunder was real bad. Like the spot that I'm sure made the rounds, and I'm sure you saw this one too, where Mike Santana was on the top rope and Frankie Kazarian was on the apron. And Santana was teasing that he was going to do like a top rope cutter. So I don't know what the fuck he was planning on doing. But basically he jumps like towards the table for no reason whatsoever. And Kazarian, like a second too late, jumps and they do a cutter that makes no sense at all because Mike Santana's not jumping near Kazarian. He's jumping towards the table. And it's like, if you have to do some convoluted table spot that doesn't even going to look, don't do the fucking table spot. Figure out something else to do. But you got to do a table spot. It's a modern match. So you got to do tables. There has to be a fucking ladder. There's got to be chairs. There's a barbed wire bat. You've seen this match. You've seen it 1,000 times. And ultimately, Mike Santana won. But I thought this was pretty bad. And these guys have negative chemistry. So hopefully they never face each other ever again. Because they don't.
They did not have a good match on the TV.
No.
So that might speak to the chemistry.
Yeah.
I didn't think, I don't know. I didn't think this was that bad. I enjoyed it for what it was. I like the pile driver through the 2 chairs on the floor. Nemeth still has the cash-in gimmick. I thought, like, as referee, he was just going to jump in and steal the title at some point.
Well, he should have. He's an idiot. He did it at the end.
Yeah.
And then Mike Santana beat him up, and then he couldn't call his shot.
Yeah, you're right, because we're copying every WWE gimmick known to man. But I thought that the main event and the opener were the 2 best matches on the show.
The opener rocked.
AJ Francis, Rich Swann, I thought was a lot of fun. I think AJ Francis has done the best work of his career in TNA.
By far.
I thought he was absolute fucking dog shit in WWE. Not good in NXT, although I don't remember much about him in NXT. I remember him more in WWE. MLW, he was starting to improve, remember? He was like, oh, he's okay. The couple of indie matches I've seen from him were really bad. But in TNA, he's been pretty good. He's very often one of the better matches on the show. So
And gets genuine heat too. He gets like real ass heat that you don't really get in today's wrestling anymore. I was very impressed by him on this Genesis show. I was like, this guy's made himself into like a legit, he's one of the more talented guys in TNA. He's one of the guys I look forward to most when I watch TNA. And yeah, for legit heat and just good work. Like, he actually has really, really good work here. In this match with Rich Swann was great. It was a big man, little man match, basically. You know, Rich Swann, the underdog babyface, the undermanned, undersized, babyface, and AJ Francis, the bigger, stronger, more dominant heel or whatever. And all the match was built perfectly for Rich Swann to kind of work his way back up, and Francis just beat him and got the win. And there was a ton of heat and the crowd booing Francis. And there's probably a little bit of, they kind of parlayed a little bit of that real actual, like, people do actually not like the guy into, actual tangible, good heat that you want out of wrestling. So I'll give him all the credit in the world. Guy's improved a lot. He's got a good character, and he seems to be working his ass off in TNA. He seems to be very happy. So this is where something like a TNA and this company being in this ecosystem can be good for wrestling. For somebody like AJ Francis, if TNA didn't exist, it would probably just be done. And he might have something offered to this wrestling business now. We've seen it. So it's cool that he had a landing spot that he could go to.
Yeah, he did something in this match. It was a little thing, but I loved it so much. Swann hit a big move, and they did a false finish. It was like a 2.9 count deal. And AJ Francis had his eyes closed, which made me think the match was over, because every other fucking wrestler in the world watches the referee count, and they're kicking out. And he didn't do that. In fact, his eyes were shut. And because everyone else these days just stares at the referee, I figured, that's it. Match is over. I don't understand why they look at the referee while they're counting on these near falls. You can hear the hand hitting the mat, and you can feel the pace. This man did it with his eyes closed. All of the historical wrestling from the past I watched, they do it without looking at the ref but in modern wrestling, everyone, they're laid out, and you can see them with their eyes in the back of their head watching the referee behind them count. And it drives me nuts. And he had his eyes shut. And I wanted to give credit to him for that, because it fooled me.
Are they they have to be teaching it, right?
Have to be teaching it. Because
you're right.
Everybody does it.
Everybody does it, yeah.
And even great workers, like, everybody does it. They do it in Japan. They do it in US TV. I don't know about Mexico. Half of them are wearing masks. It's hard to tell. And it's different. Really slow counting. A lot of submissions. So, we'll leave Lucha out of it. But credit to him. Eyes shut, and oh my God, somehow he managed to kick out before the 3 count. Crazy. Mustafa Ali versus Elijah. It's been a hot feud. You didn't like this.
I got no time for I got no time for
they
Elijah.
recapped all the horse angles. Did you enjoy the horse angles?
The horse angle. All of the horse angles. Yeah, there were several of them. There was more horse angles than I remember.
Horse angles.
No, Mustafa Ali's got like go away heat with me right now. He's like one of my least favorite wrestlers on earth, and I got no time for the Drifter. So,
all right, what'd you think of the retirement of JDC?
So this one was, I feel like I'm being gaslit here. I just really am. Because the entire time they're doing this match and all the stuff around this, they do these promo videos about Johnny Curtis retiring and all this pomp and circumstance about Fandango retiring. And Tom Phillips is going over the entire tenure of Johnny Curtis and everything that he's done. And when the match is over, Drama King Matt goes, "The wrestling business is better for Johnny Curtis being in it." And I was like, what are we doing? Like, the guy is irrelevant to wrestling history, right? If you remove Fandango from wrestling history, nothing changes. Like, why are we pretending that Johnny Curtis and this 17-year career that he had is like the stuff of like, I feel like I was being gaslit. I was like, I've watched, I think, most of this guy's career, and I don't know why we're pretending that this guy is like Drama King Matt saying like the wrestling business is a better place because he was in it. Like, what are you doing? This is not Hiroshi Tanahashi. This is John Cena. Calm down a little bit here. It's all right. It's all right to say, hey, this guy has had, he was around for 20 years and he had a good little run here and he's calling it quits and he's going home and he's taking, but they're laying it on a little too thick. And I'm like, all right, reel it in here. It's Johnny fucking Curtis, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little too thick, right? For Johnny Curtis?
Listen.
For Dirty Dango?
I don't know if the business was entirely fair to him. Probably should have had a better career. But I can't argue with what you're saying. Was not an instrumental figure in the business.
I mean, the way that they're talking about him, it's like everybody knew him. You know what I mean? They're like, we all have great memories of childhood. Do we? Like, other than like the song, you know, and then they do the Chris Jericho spot, and they're like, oh, it's the Chris Jericho spot from his WrestleMania. I'm like, calm down, guys, calm down. It's Fandango. Like, chill out, brother.
He's wearing the highlight of his career,
brother. He's wearing Terry Funk out attire. You're wearing Terry Funk pants.
He's a Terry Funk fan.
He's trying to like even pretend that he's in the same fucking universe.
I just, he watched a lot of tapes. He likes Terry Funk.
Come on.
It's his retirement.
Johnny Curtis.
Can't knock the guy for it. Actually, you can, and you are.
I am. I'm not knocking the guy. I'm not like it's. I'm not. I have nothing wrong with Johnny Curtis. I just have it. It was just like I feel like I was in a different world where I guess when I watched wrestling for my entire life, he was completely irrelevant except for like 3 years when he was Fandango, and even then it was like, okay, here's like a guy that has got a fun song and people like to sing it. Like that's it. That's all. I guess I wasn't watching my Deep South tape or my Northeastern Indies. I wasn't watching my PWF tapes at those days. But it's just like, what are we doing here? Like we're pretending that this guy is. Was
he the original Yeet?
Not the original Yeet, but he was a Yeet for sure.
He was a Yeet, right?
He was definitely a Yeet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And really had that the Super Euro post WrestleMania Raw crowds that they don't exist anymore. But in those days, had they not like decided that was going to be a thing, like we might not. This guy'd be nothing. This guy would be Johnny Curtis, Deep South wrestling guy that they tried as a dancing gimmick and it didn't work and then he went away.
Right. A reminder, if you're in the chat, to answer the poll: have you ever taken a boner pill? Yes or no?
Yeah.
It's a reminder to answer the poll. Yeah, I don't know. I can't dispute anything you're saying.
The match was fine. The match was fine, but then it was over. Eddie's like hugging him immediately, and Alicia Edwards is like crying, and Phillips and Drama King are like, "Oh, it'll never be the same again." Right. Like, come on.
Well, tonight he called. See, they're doing another WWE type thing where everyone has a little nickname. They called Mance Warner. And who's his wife? What's her name? Steph DeLander?
Steph DeLander, yeah.
He entered the feast or fired. And he said, there's Mance Warner and Steph DeLander. They're the modern Bonnie and Clyde of pro wrestling. Like they all have these little...
The modern Bonnie and Clyde.
Like WWE does. They have a little side name for everybody or whatever, like a side moniker. Like if you read the WWE.com write-ups of the matches, they never call them by the wrestler's name. It's all these different little... cutesy nicknames they have for the wrestlers, and TNA does the same thing. They have, if you pay attention, Facefuck Phillips has a whole bevy of those for everybody.
Well, I won't be anymore, but if I do,
you know what else he said tonight? What's anger you? You are watching Impact Wrestling, which has had more episodes than Monday Night Football, Saturday Night Live, The Simpsons, Survivor, and many more. What do you think of that?
Sure.
You get a fact check or no?
No, I'll let him have it. I don't know.
52 weeks a year.
It is 52 weeks a year, which does always help.
SNL has like 13 or something. I think it's more than that, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
Not all these other shows are. Survivor might be catching up because
Survivor's got a lot of seasons, and they're on like season 49 or whatever. So yeah, they might be getting there.
Yeah,
they might be getting there, but all right, fine, sure.
Monday Night Football, it's only 16, or 17 a year, right? They got 52, so they only have to be on half the number of years to catch these other shows. They're doing double the shows.
Yeah, right? And God, Impact's been around for a long ass time, so
over
maybe
20 years.
Yeah,
right.
So probably.
I thought that'd make you more upset than
Nah, I've learned, especially with Phillips, because Phillips is like a very WWE coded announcer. Like he learned everything there, and that's the tag. Like tag,
tag.
You don't have to say it, Tom. We know. We're watching it.
Tag.
Yeah, we see it. We saw the tag. It's also an irrelevant tag in the match. It's fine. You just. It's like Corey Graves
isn't going to yell at you.
No, Vince is not. Yeah, he's not going to be on the headset. He's not going to yell at you. And it's not like I almost can sort of understand, even though I hate it too. I can almost understand, and Corey Graves did a lot during the AAA show, the interrupt the person as they're talking to say, oh, wait, hold on, 1, 2, no. Okay. I get it because you want to tell maybe that hip toss 2 seconds into the match will indeed be the finish. So I better call it 1, 2. Okay, no, he kicked out. Like I almost understand that. Tag, we don't need tag. Tag is completely irrelevant. You are just filling space. You're interrupting somebody for no reason to say a word, and we know what's happening. We already can tell that a person has tagged each other in and out. We don't need to have you tell us tag. Like that one drives me up a wall. More so than you interrupt somebody to go 1, 2, no. Okay, what were you saying, Conan? Like, what were you saying, Ray? It's just
it cuts off the other guys when they're actually saying something of value.
Yeah, it sucks. Really don't get me wrong, it sucks, but I almost understand it a little bit more. I'd prefer neither, and you can just have actual conversations on commentary. Yeah. But Vince decided that you needed to say tag, and you need to interrupt everything. Just go 1, 2, no.
And like a lot of things, that then infects all the other companies who just think that's the way. Break me down Ryan Nemeth versus Mara Sade, because something happened to my feed here, so I was relying on you to. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Oh no, your feed. Okay, well they went out and had one of the worst. So first off, Tom Phillips goes, we do things unique here in TNA. We have an intergender match. And I'm like, brother, everyone has intergender, right? Like, I could hear you on the other end just being like, fuck off. Everyone does intergender, and I wish you were unique. I wish nobody did intergender. Yeah. But he's promoting it as like, we do things really weird here. Guess what's going to happen? A man's going to face a woman, as if like we haven't seen this for the last 15 years on every indie show forever. But
fucking China 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's so bad. This was one of like, is this going to be like the worst? Is this the worst match of the year? I don't know if it's quite the worst match of the year, but Sade's no good. Hot Young Briley is awful.
Who's this for?
I don't know. It was just like
listen, the wokes aren't going to like this match. A little bit of sex assaulty.
There was a lot of sex assaulty in this one. Yes, a lot of
sex assaulty.
Because that was the story, was a man is in here with a woman, and he's very grabby and very touchy, and she's like, you can't do that. And then she like beats him up.
2026.
Yes.
They're giving us a match where this guy is basically trying to feel up the girl because he's wrestling, because he wants to fuck her, and he's wrestling a girl.
He's wrestling a hot woman, and he cannot resist the temptation of this woman.
He's got to fuck. He's got to touch her.
He's got to touch her. And then guess what? He beats her. He wins the match, which is not how I would book the touchy-feely guy gets a little too touchy-feely, and I would have it end with Sade giving him a good roundhouse kick and pinning him or whatever, or China giving him a nice low blow and pinning him. They decided to go with Ryan Nemeth getting the old dub in this one. So
if you're gonna do the story of horny guy feeling up the woman in a wrestling match, he should probably at least lose.
Probably.
Right? He should probably lose.
But the sexist man won, proving once and for all that men are superior. There it is. So talk to Tom Phillips about it. Don't get mad at me. Talk to Tom Phillips,
Why? It's not his. He didn't book it.
We talked about it. He said it's a rather unique match here. But it's bad. This was the early days. Yeah. Remember, intergender used to be this all the time. When we first started bitching about intergender, this is what it was. Every single time. It would be one of two. There was always two intergender matches. There was two genres. There was horny guy cannot resist the fact that he's in the ring with a woman, so he must like touch her in weird ways all the time.
Right.
Or woman is inferior to strong man, and she's got to like figure out how to overcome. But like the match would start, and he'd like
beat her within an inch of her life.
Yeah. And he would like, it'd start off, they would have like a lockup, and then he'd toss her halfway across the ring or whatever, and she'd be like, oh, yeah. I'd be like, oh, I'm so strong, and you're so weak or whatever.
Look at this broad.
Right. And then eventually she would hit a 619 and like a suicide dive or whatever, and then she'd rally or whatever. Ultimately, she probably lost, but
or he'd get cocky and he would treat her like a cat slapping around a half-dead mouse, and then get rolled up or something.
And at the time, we thought both those sucked. We were
we're like,
shouted at
this is
all the time. Yeah, that was wrong, and that actually it was good. But
you are the sexist ones, actually.
Right.
Yes, of course. Yes.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with Joey Ryan forcing women to touch his penis. No, it's good actually that happens.
What's wrong with you?
Right, okay.
What's wrong with you? It's forward thinking.
Okay.
oh, you like women need to be protected like delicate flowers. That was always the one.
The delicate flowers, yeah. No, I just don't think Chris Dickinson should hit Kimberly with a chair as hard as he possibly can, as many times as possible. I don't know. I just don't love it. But anyway, you do, so you like that, so it's fine. Whatever.
Anyway, Ryan Nemeth gets very rapey with Mara Sade and then wins anyway. So that
beats
was,
her anyway. Alex Sade's doing the she's trying to do like the Lita thing. She's got like the thong hanging out of the jeans or whatever, and she's got a lot of things going. She's got like fishnets and like a bra, and then like the thongs hanging out of the jeans. And I'm like, she's going pick a gimmick. There's a lot of stuff going on with the former Jakara Jackson, but no, she's no good either. But was probably better than Ryan Nemeth, honestly.
Can't she just wrestle like fucking another woman and have a good match? Why do we got to do this? Is that too much to ask? I don't know.
It must be, yeah.
But can't she just wrestle like Zaya Brookside and see who the better competitor is? I'd rather watch that.
Hold on.
Oh, listen. All right, pick
somebody better than
choice.
Li Ying Li. Yeah, can Li Ying Li and Mara Sade face each other? Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Wait, what was Tasha Steelz up to tonight? Was she?
Oh, she had to do the. Elijah gave. She was getting. Speaking of, wow, my God, Tommy Dreamer. I gotta say, he's got a certain thing here. Elijah, I forgot. Remember, he tried to give her a tombstone.
Yeah.
And then Ali hit the guitar on the back of Elijah. Then he just gave her the tombstone anyway. But he got hit by the guitar.
For someone who doesn't want to watch TNA, you know a lot of details about this show. I was just pulling names out of hats and to wrestle Mara Sade instead of Ryan Nemeth. Instead of grabby Ryan Nemeth over here.
So you want Tasha Steelz?
I don't know. I don't know who works here. Who works here?
Nobody. They got rid of a lot of people. I'm
naming people who work here, Rich. Cut me a break. All right? Angelina Love's not walking through that door.
She could have faced Candice Michelle. I thought Candice Michelle was there.
Okay, I don't know what you want. I gave you two people who work there.
You did.
You didn't accept either of them as an answer. I don't know where else to turn.
I just thought both those matches might be worse. You offered Zaya Brookside and Mara Sade. I mean, you got to think about that.
I gotta tell you, people who work there, that's who they have. I mean, you want me? All right, they should hire Tootie Lynn to come wrestle in that. How's
AQA or whatever.
Yeah. Jeez. I'm sorry that Taryn Terrell isn't there anymore. I can only give you what I have to work with. Jeez, man. It's just a basic. You're just supposed to say, yes, I'd rather see Mara Sade not get assaulted and wrestle another woman, Joe.
Right. I'd rather see her against Sarita. I'd rather see her against Sarita.
Okay, sure.
Well, I don't know if they're hiring Sarita.
Wait a minute. She's a psychopath now. Isn't she going crazy on Twitter?
Yes. That's Sarah Stock, which we had this discussion when she was going crazy most recently on Twitter, that she's somebody that I've heard the name Sarah Stock for like 15 years, and I know I've seen a Sarita match. I know I had to have seen a Sarita match.
Sure.
But I don't think I have.
I don't know if I have either. She's the most anonymous wrestler who's been in the business for 20 years. I think her entire career just slipped through my fingers. I don't know if I've ever seen her wrestle. But I'm sure we have. I'm sure we've seen.
I've seen a Sarita match on TNA Impact back in the day or whatever. But
I can't name one.
But exactly like every time I've heard the name forever.
Forever, you hear the name all the time. It's one of those things too, where people will bring up the name, and I'm too embarrassed to say I don't know who that is.
Right? You're like, oh, Sarah Stock said that. Oh,
have
wow.
you ever been in that position?
Yeah, of course.
Someone will be like, it just come up like, oh, so Sarah Stock did blah blah blah, and in my head I'm thinking, who the fuck is Sarah Stock? But I don't want to admit to the person that I don't know who Sarah Stock is because I've been hearing the name Sarah Stock for 20 years, and I feel like I should know who Sarah Stock is. And I know you're feeling me on this one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there was for about 10 years. I thought Sarah Stock was Sarah Del Rey's like shoot name. So when people were saying Sarah Stock, I thought they were talking about Sarah Del Rey. They were not. They were two separate people. Yeah. So that was embarrassing because then I was like, who the fuck is Sarah Stock? And they're like, oh, she was Sarita in TNA. And I was like, oh yeah. Who was Sarita in TNA? I don't know if I remember Sarita at all.
Yeah, exactly. When people would bring up Sarah Stock to me, I would always think to myself, oh, she's probably someone from Shimmer who didn't make it. And I never watched a minute of Shimmer. And I don't want to be that guy who says I never watched a minute of Shimmer. So I'm just going to like pretend I know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was always my thought until.
That's how you handled it.
Because then like she was an agent in AEW and they're like, oh, Sarah Stock. I'm like, who the fuck is she? How did she get this job? Like, who is she? What did she ever do? Who'd she ever beat?
Right. You're thinking she's like Portia Perez or whatever, someone of that level, like, you know, like
Portia Perez. Like, I've seen her wrestle
she was good,
a million times, and she was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Oh,
I
you
don't
think
know
like just a straight Shimmer universe person that never.
Yeah, that never made it. Like, I'm like, this is some Shimmer person I'm supposed to know, but I, you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Have I seen Sarita wrestle? Probably.
You had to have.
Probably.
Anyway.
Li Ying Li versus Zarya.
This is good. I like this match.
Okay, well, yeah, talk about it.
They're good back and forth. This was good. This was Zarya. And she's someone I haven't really seen a ton of. Believe it or not, I wasn't watching my Delta tapes like our good friends, every WWE Grifter account that was apparently a huge fan of Australian independent women's wrestling. Unlike us, who, you know, but they all of a sudden, who knew that they were all such big fans of Delta and Australian independent women's wrestling. But
where's Avery? Come back to the business.
Like, right. We know, though. We know. Like, that was the thing, too.
Legit watched it.
That was when the Delta thing was happening, and all these grifter accounts were like, oh, my God, WWE signed Delta. That's incredible. And I was like, who the fuck is Delta? Same deal as Sarah Stock. And I'm like, I've watched that scene. Like, I've watched Australian wrestling. I don't know who the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was so fun. These people that never watch anything.
Right.
But Raw, SmackDown, and NXT are like, oh, Delta, that's a big signing for WWE. I'm like,
we're like, we know you're lying, because we've been watching that stuff, and she doesn't really pop up.
No, but she's good.
But you're watching dingy, fucking deep Australian indies that we haven't come across. I don't think you're telling the truth.
Right.
It was such a tell that these people
it was so bad. Yeah. And it's like it's subs the stuff that Kevin Chiat like would DM us and be like, all right, I know you guys aren't gonna watch it, but like, here you go. Here's like the last 8 months of Australia
never
wrestling.
On any of the stuff he
I
sent
know,
us.
that's what I'm saying. Like, he sent us deep stuff, and she was never on it. Because I would always watch it like 6 months after he sent it to us, and I would always feel bad because he'd be like, oh, this was a show this weekend. It was pretty good. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll watch it. And then I never, but eventually I would have some downtime and I would watch a bunch of it or whatever. But I never saw her ever.
Well, for a while there, we were like pandemic era, we were covering it weekly.
Yeah.
The Australian scene. And long after that, I was writing reviews of Australian matches for a long time because he would always keep me up to date on the big title matches and stuff. That whole Mikey Nichols title reign, all that shit. So long after we stopped doing it on the air, I was still writing about the Australia. And I swear to you, we never came across her.
Never once.
I don't think I came across her once. And we were watching all the big promotions in Australia. So there's no fucking way that fadeaway media was all on top of fucking Delta. No, there's not a fucking chance.
No chance.
There's not a chance.
But she was good here. She was really good. And I thought Li Ying Li, I mean, I was always somewhat impressed by her in NXT, but I always thought that maybe there was a little bit more there, that maybe she needed a little, you know, get out of that system for a little bit and try her hand somewhere else, and then maybe she could come back and as a better worker or whatever. And this, I thought it was really good. I thought a lot of good action. They were hard hitting, and it just, I don't know, from compared to the Ryan Nemeth Marisade, it seemed good. But I thought in general, this is my second favorite match of the entire night. I thought AJ Francis and Rich Swann was my number one. But this one was number two. I just thought really, really good action between the two. A well-built match. Crowd was really into it as well. They were kind of cheering for their own here. They were cheering for the TNA wrestler over the NXT wrestler. And yeah, I thought Zaya Brookside and Sol Ruka as seconds were good. And they did a bunch of dives and stuff to the outside. So yeah, it was a fast-paced, hard-hitting match. And I was really, really impressed by it.
Yeah, probably the third or fourth best match on the show for me. Yeah, there was nothing. It was good. It was a decent little match. The Hardys over the Righteous. So here's why I fucking hated this. They do this stupid fucking thing where the Hardys win the match and then the Righteous break into laughter. And they're like, this is what we wanted. This is what we wanted, man. We wanted you to beat us up, man. These are the mind games, man. And then the Hardys are like confused. What is this? You know? So it's like, I have no fucking time for this shit. No time for this. Of this bullshit. Telling this wacky story of these two guys who, like, they're losing on purpose. Fuck off. I have no fucking time for this. This is as off-putting to me as the intergender shit. It just, no thanks. Not for me. You want to run me off as a viewer, do shit like this. I'll go watch Uncle Howdy. I could go watch Uncle Howdy. At least that's better production if I want this kind of garbage. You know what I'm saying? So no, this was junk.
Yeah, the end for people that did not see it. Now, first off, the Hardys are fucking beyond washed. Like, they're horrible. Jeff just kills people on those swanton bombs. Now he just lands straight on people. Matt can't walk. He's bow-legged. It's like, I know that they still get the biggest pop of the night. They're still the most over stars, but
they're the only stars.
They're the only stars, man. But they're so bad now. They're so clunky and just so sloppy, and everything just looks like awful.
They're also 50 doing a teenager gimmick.
Yes, they're still wearing Jinko jeans in 2026. It's really bad. It's real tough. But yeah, so what happened at the end is your guy, Vinny's in the ring, and they're ready to finish him off. But WWE Dutch grabs the mic.
WWE Dutch.
And he goes,
yeah.
I'm like, what's happening? What is this? I was like, is the match over? Like, what are we doing here? He just laughs and he goes, this is what we wanted. Yeah. We wanted to feel pain. And then they do the twist of fate and then they pin Vince. Yeah. And I'm like, what is this? Like, what are we doing?
Dumb. Very dumb.
And it was not very good before that either. So
look, I love Balloon Guy, unironically. I think there's something there with him that's never going to be realized anywhere. He's got a certain creepiness to him, and he could talk a little, and he's got this. But this team has kind of overstayed their welcome overall. We've seen him in 3 different promotions now. They never get pushed past a certain level. I think there's just other things you can do with a Vincent. What are we even doing? Can we just move to the next match?
So you want him to send Bill Carr to the side. You're done with Bill Carr.
Yeah, I think I'm done with WWE Dutch. I think
you want Bill Carr out of there.
I just think that Vincent is a talented and creative guy. And I think that these are all the wrong instincts of where it's like, we're losing on purpose because we want to feel pain. I mean, the whole snapping thing, and he looks like fucking Rob Zombie, and I just think there's something there. But honestly, I think the best place for him would be WWE. Without WWE Dutch. I feel like they would maximize what he brings to the table more than any of these other promotions have been able to do. I'm not saying he should be a main eventer or anything. I just think that, I don't know. I just think I've always liked him. I've always enjoyed him. All right. So you just got an earnest breakdown of Balloon Guy.
There it is. Yeah.
Flagship. We do it all. Joe Hendry was put in this match due to the visa stuff. And he wins. So he beats.
Yep.
Cedric Alexander and Moose, who had an excellent match to open up Impact this week, by the way. Better than anything on the first show.
Did Moose recover from his traumatic back injury that he had for 10 minutes in this match?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. It was good action, the opener between those two. This, I don't have any use for Joe Hendry. He seems like a nice guy. I'm sure he's got his mall plaque up in his office. But
I don't get the Joe. He's not charismatic in the ring.
Well, if you say his name, he appears.
It's the theme song does everything for this guy because he's a zilch. He can't work, and he doesn't even even when he's in the ring, he's just kind of there. You know what I mean? He just has nothing going on, and I love this because he comes out. And the fans are chanting like a minute or two into the match. The fans are chanting, "We believe, we believe, we believe," or whatever. And Tom Phillips goes, the TNA fans remember the days of Joe Hendry and TNA. And I was like, that was 4 months ago.
It was 10 minutes ago, right. Tom.
He's acting like it's fucking James Storm walking through that door. Like Elix Skipper is in this match. No, it's fucking Joe Hendry. He was just here in December. What are you talking about? They're like, the fans remember the days. I'm like, yeah, that was 5 weeks ago, buddy. The
Halcyon days of Joe Hendry.
What are we doing here? Yeah, it was so weird. And then when it's over, they're like, we can't wait to see what Joe Hendry's journey in WWE looks like. It's so weird. They're pretending this guy wasn't there for years and has been gone forever. It's just really strange. Really, really weird. But he's a WWE talent now, so, he's a guest in TNA. But, here's We did a triple threat match, which Phillips said triple threat the entire time because, of course, you got to do what WWE does. And we can't just have 3 guys wrestle. That's impossible. So the way that we get to the how do we have a one-on-one match and one of the other guys is, gone so we can have a one-on-one match is Joe Hendry did a back body drop to Moose and he landed on the steps. And then they pretended that Moose had a traumatic back injury and we had Owen Hart voices and Carlos Silva had to come out and hold Moose's hand as the doctor is looking at him or whatever. And Joe Hendry's got to be all concerned. I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to hurt him like that. And it's like, oh my God, what are we doing here? And then Moose came back and they did not get as much of a reaction as I think they thought it was going to get. I was paralyzed, but now I'm okay.
Stretcher. The old hopping off the stretcher.
Yeah.
Remember how overdone that was for about a year or 6 months in all of wrestling, guys hopping off the stretcher?
Yeah. Hate it.
Remember we would complain about that constantly? That's kind of like what the gimmick was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it allowed them to have a Cedric Alexander-Joe Hendry match for a couple minutes. Yeah. And then eventually Moose came back, and then they, had their little triple threat thing for a little bit. Then you had Moose versus Cedric on their own for a little bit, and then Joe Hendry just came in and beat everybody, and then moved on.
You don't have to do these little tricks to get to have a little singles match in a 3-way if you just have fucking singles matches, right?
Yeah.
You could just have singles matches. You could have not had. Why did Joe Hendry need to be here? To just beat your guys? Just have Cedric Alexander versus Moose. What the fuck purpose did Joe Hendry? How many pay-per-views did that sell by announcing him?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
no one
I
cares.
get it. Yeah.
Just have Cedric Alexander versus Moose. I understand they had to replace. I understand that. Did you see the two on last week on Impact where it was Santino and Cedric Alexander, and Santino was trying to say who was that Joe Hendry was gonna be the third guy, but he didn't want to say his name because he didn't want him to appear. Mm-hmm. Right, that was the whole bit. And then finally, like Cedric caught on, and someone said the name. And then his phone rang, and it was broken. Joe Hendry on the phone. But they showed the phone screen on, and he had a cracked phone screen.
Just grab a phone. It said, "Is your phone broken?" It is. Okay.
We're going to use Santino's phone.
Yeah, Santino, get a picture of Joe Hendry, put it on your background. Hey, does your daughter have a phone that's not broken? Good. Can we borrow her phone for a segment?
Does anyone in the building have a phone that doesn't have a giant spider crack in the middle?
It's
anyone
so bad.
That we're not going to put on fucking TV?
I would never. I'd be horrified.
Now, I'm not even judging
No, it's happened to the best of us. It's happened to the best of us.
If you put a poll in this chat, who here has a cracked phone? It might be the same 30% that say they've taken a boner pill. You crack your phone sometimes. You don't get around to getting another. And you know what you do sometimes when you crack your phone? You say, you know what? I'm going to ride this out until my next
That's
phone.
Exactly. The last phone I had, I dropped it and it got a little crack in the corner. I was like, fuck. I was like, it's enough. I'm
going to ride it out.
And then I kept that phone for like 4 more years. I dropped it 10 more times. And by the time I turned it in, that thing was destroyed. It had cracks everywhere. And but at that point I was like, whatever. It's got 1 crack. It's got 2 cracks. Whatever. Fuck it. Who cares? I'm fine.
Then you get the new phone and you're like, oh, this is the way to live.
Yeah.
No cracks.
Yeah.
This is sweet.
And then you're very careful with this one. I'm very careful with this phone.
You are. Well, I've never owned a phone case. I refuse.
This one I finally did relent. I finally did relent, and I now have a phone case. But before I didn't. But then the last phone I unfortunately dropped a couple times. So
I'm just stubborn. I won't do a phone case. I like raw dog in it. I like a raw dog phone.
I think somebody made fun of us during Mania Weekend because you and I both took out raw dog phones, and people were like, "What are you doing? You guys are nuts!"
But then I showed them. I said, "Look, motherfucker, no cracks. I've never cracked a phone. And I've never owned a case, and I've never cracked a phone. I think I'm just so proud of that I'm like, I'm just going to keep doing this.
I was that before, but the last time I did it, the last phone I had. But before that, I had never cracked one either. But
the phones now are like hard to crack.
They are.
They keep improving the technology. I've dropped this phone many times. And every time I drop it, I'm like, my heart goes into my throat.
It's
I'm like,
the time.
oh,
that's it.
The time has come. I'm going to pick this up, and it's going to be, and no, nothing. They're like, it's got the titanium back and the shatterproof glass. And I'm like, whatever, pack it up. And no, they're just hard to break now. So it's like TNA, hard to kill. I think that's it because the main event. No, but the point here was, don't use the cracked phone on TV. Just get another fucking phone from somebody.
Just have some fucking pride and know how to. Yeah. Come on. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
if you must show a phone when the segment starts, realize that, or you film it and Cedric turns it around and his phone's cracked, you go cut, you go, okay, can we get someone whose phone not cracked?
Right. Very easy.
It seems like a very simple fix, but hey, you know
it's
what?
a 10-minute like you said. Download a background picture of Joe Hendry on the fucking cameraman's phone and just reshoot it.
Ridiculous.
The fuck are we doing? All right, so that was TNA Genesis 2026. I didn't think the show was awful. It was a massive improvement from the TV the 2 nights before, but I can't call it good either. I can't go that far. A man does have his limits.
It's just a brand that I just find it repulsive, the whole thing. It's just, we'll talk about AAA, a brand I also find quite repulsive here in a minute. But let's do contract season updates real fast. You talked about Evil, David Finlay, and Gabe Kidd on Flagship Plus. So to kind of clue people in on what's going on there, Evil gave his notice, so he'll be departing New Japan Pro Wrestling, it seems, and his next stop seems to be WWE, but nothing has been, I think, officially reported on that just yet.
Okay, now let me jump in. I think while we were on the air, Fightful may have reported that he signed with WWE.
Okay, I saw the power. I thought they said I did see Powerhouse Hobbs got announced. Let me.
Okay, my bad. It was
no.
right,
Let me double check. Let me double check because you might be right.
No, you're right. It was Hobbs.
Okay,
I was wrong. Yeah.
So Evil, I don't know what's going. Yeah. So Hobbs is. We'll talk about that here in a sec. But Evil, as far as we know, it's assumed that WWE is probably going to be the next stop. But we'll see what happens with Evil. And as far as David Finlay and Gabe Kidd, we don't know. Gabe Kidd it probably can put 2 and 2 together on what his next stop is, and David Finlay, we don't know just yet for him. But those 3 guys,
as well.
Yeah, and Hiromu as well. So those 4 guys.
So the deal, now this all comes from Super J-Cast. So I this happens every time, but I did see some people saying that I had given destinations for these people. I absolutely did not. If you listen to the audio, the only one was Evil, where people are just assuming that he's WWE bound because Fightful had reported a month ago or 3-4 weeks ago that there was interest from WWE. So if there was interest from WWE and then the guy gives notice a few weeks later, people are just connecting dots on that one.
Right.
So as far as David Finlay and Gabe Kidd go, and Hiromu, those are ones that, you'll get the full scoop from the Super J-Cast paywall, but it's possible that all these guys, in addition to Sonata, who's officially on a leave of absence, but no one expects him back, whether he gets the neck fusion surgery or not. If most or all of these guys end up going, including Hiromu, and most of them are expected to go, this is like a full-on exodus at this point. That's a lot of people on the way out. So, we'll have to see how it shakes out. Hiromu is one that shouldn't really surprise anyone. Just look at his body language. It just feels like he doesn't want to be there anymore, and he'd rather be with his pals. So, anyway, that's New Japan.
Absolutely, yeah. And I you talked about a little bit on the plus, but I'd welcome all those guys leaving. I mean, Gabe Kidd, obviously, I'd like to keep Gabe Kidd if you can, but as far as Evil, David Finlay, and Hiromu, I mean, you've told every story you could possibly tell with Hiromu. I am fine with that guy leaving. He doesn't seem to want to be there anymore, and I don't really want to watch him in New Japan anymore, so go try something else out. Go somewhere else. David Finlay's kind of the same way, too. I mean, I think he's a good worker, but I think you've told every story you're going to be able to tell with David Finlay unless you want to start pushing that guy into the main events and have him win world titles or whatever, but I don't really know that I want David Finlay in my main events or winning world titles, so I think that's a great – go try something else. Put on a new coat of paint. Go somewhere else. And Evil – without notwithstanding, I mean, whatever can get me away from him in the House of Torture is fine with me. I think he's, at times was a good worker, and I think can still be a good worker, but the House of Torture stuff was just so the antithesis of what I want out of my pro wrestling, and it just made me actively hate this company in a lot of ways and drag down a lot of shows. And he's a guy that, again, I think you've told a lot of stories with. Like, what else are you going to do with an Evil at this point? Like, what else, other than the face turn is the only thing they never did with him. And they probably should have done that a couple years ago. They didn't, and they kept just going on and on and on with this House of Torture thing. But at this point, I am, and this show is almost always pro roster movement. Is like if a guy is in a spot and it feels stagnant in any way or what, just leave. Just go somewhere else. Try something else. The company is better off for it. I think the person is better off for it. It's just roster movement's good because these guys leave, spots open up. Somebody else can step up into these spots. Someone else gets a new spot. Someone else gets a new push. That is always what I want out of my wrestling. I am always thirsty and ready for what's next, what's new, what's different, watching the same people over and over and over again for years and years and years and years on end. I don't care about that annoys me, and I don't see this as like a win-loss. Like a lot of people see, oh, this guy left, that's a loss for this company. Like I don't know, I don't necessarily see that. I see that as an opportunity that now arises for somebody else. That okay,
I mean, there's situations where you can lose the wrong person at the wrong time.
Of course. But
I think that the way I termed it was, I paraphrased Moneyball, that scene where Peter Brand tells Billy Bean that he thinks losing Johnny Damon is a good thing. And he says, I think this opens up a ton of amazing possibilities for you. And that's how I see this for New Japan. I think losing all of these guys, if they lose all of them, and they're going to lose most of them, if not all of them, I think it's a good thing for the reasons you just said. It's going to create new opportunities for new guys. And this is the perfect time for that to happen in New Japan.
it forces you to do it.
It forces you to do it. It's a new era. The Tanahashi retirement closed the door on the old era. And let's get some new faces in the mix, because if David Finlay and Evil and Hiromu all stick around, they're going to occupy the same spots that they've occupied for the last decade. Or in Finlay's case, a little shorter, but you get the idea. And it's going to make it that much harder to do new and exciting things. And if they do get rid of the House of Torture, which I don't think, unfortunately, they're going to do, they'll probably just stick a new leader in there, Ren Narita, somebody else. But if they show some guts and just finally kill the House of Torture and put all semblance of the Bullet Club behind them, even if it sells some t-shirts, even if there's still some fans who like it, so what? It forces you to try something new.
We need new coat of paint.
That might be exciting and might spark some excitement in your company. Let's just put the final bullet in this Bullet Club shit, because the House of Torture is just an extension of the Bullet Club. This is the perfect opportunity to finally leave it in the past and move this company into a new era. Let them all go. Let them all go. You will be fine. People weren't knocking down the ticket office to come see David Finlay and Evil. They weren't, okay? You'll be fine. Naito already left. Let the LIJ guys go join them. Just let's have a clean start. It'll be a good thing. I think Gabe Kidd is the only one that I would qualify as a loss. But you know what? They knew they were losing him anyway. Mm-hmm. That was a matter of time. We all saw that coming a year ago. That one is what it is. He could have been a star there. The rest,
you've told every story you're going to tell with these guys.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Hiromu's told every junior story possible 1,000 times. Finlay is what he is. Finlay's never going to be some big-time star. The only reason Finlay ever got pushed is because you lost a bunch of other guys.
Because you had nobody else, yeah, basically.
Let him go. And it's good for all these guys, too. Let's see if David Finlay can make it somewhere else. Let's see if Evil can repackage himself and do something a little fresh. He's a good wrestler. Watanabe's a good wrestler. Let Hiromu go with his pals and be reinvigorated.
Well, and we talked about Noah. I mean, he had the match that he had on New Year's. Yeah, it was better than anything he's done in New Japan in years and years and years and years, because he felt I was like, oh my God, that's what he looks like when he's motivated. Like, these guys being in the same place for so long and doing the same thing over and over and over again. It sucks as a fan, and it sucks as a wrestler too. I'm sure it's boring for Hiromu to do the same fucking shit he's been doing over and over and over again. And I'm sure, whatever he signs with, he signs full time with Noah, if he decides to be a freelancer, whatever, like, that'll be exciting for him. It's something new that he hasn't done in a decade. And I have a new job. I'm with new people and new stories to tell. I mean, that's why I'm pro roster movement in wrestling, is because it's just, I don't want to see the same people telling the same stories, wrestling in the same places over and over and over again. And it's just, I don't know why some people seem so hung up that like people shouldn't leave companies, because it's like,
they have their favorites and they like watching their favorites in the promotions they like. I do understand.
I get that, but I don't know. I
do think this, if there's ever a time for this to happen in New Japan, it's right now.
For God's sakes,
January of 2026 is when this should be happening. Okay, and and it's just going to open the doors for new things. And this is the Yota Tsuji, Aaron Wolf era, like how, whether those guys ultimately make it or not, that's what this is. Yeah. And and we should clear the runway for that. And Yuya Uemura and all these guys, Shota Umino, if you must, and Oleg Boltin and whoever else, and Kosei Fujita, let him run the junior division for the next 5 years now, without Hiromu in his way, to where you're like, oh, we have to push Hiromu because he's Hiromu. Well, now you don't have to worry about that. You just clear the deck for Fujita. So yeah, I think this is a good thing.
It's great. Yeah, it's great for everybody involved. So Trey Miguel, now we'll have to update this from when I made my notes. I pointed out that Trey Miguel got released from AEW. That's why he was not with the other three Rascals on Collision when they made their debut. And then he said, I'm taking a break away from wrestling, respect my privacy, don't tag me or post anything. And today he showed up on Impact. So he was a part of the Feast or Fired, which actually, now this is a great example of a guy who maybe took a chance to leave a company that he'd been for a while, go to AEW. It didn't work out, obviously, for whatever happened there. We can get into it if you really want to. I don't even know if we know the official reason why or whatever. But it's
been reported now.
From up top, somebody from WBD, whether legal or whatever, said that you can't have this guy on your roster, and they released him.
Correct. So. And I think the guy got a raw deal. No matter what you think of what he tweeted 1,000 years ago, it was 1,000 fucking years ago. And the bottom line is, if WBD didn't make a big deal out of it, no one would have remembered that shit. Nobody would have fucking cared. I really think the guy got a raw deal. Okay. So TNA took him back. And I think that's great for TNA.
It's great for Trey Miguel.
And it's great for Trey Miguel. And now, not only that, he could look at this as the silver lining, because he comes back to TNA with a little bit of juice behind him, because it's been a story for the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
Or the last week or so.
And speaking of change and movement and all that sort of stuff, he's not bogged down by having to be with the Rascals anymore. He can be his own person. And now,
that's right.
And you could say, well, you could always do that. You don't always, but there's always this temptation in wrestling that when people are in the spots that they're in, it's very hard to move them out of those spots. It's very hard to redo stories. It's very hard to redo characters. So sometimes you need those hard resets. And this couldn't have been a better situation for Trey Miguel. I really, truly believe that. And he might look back at this and say, this is a blessing in disguise to get released from AEW, because now he comes back to TNA, and hopefully they do something with him, because I think he's tremendously talented. And it should be, they have been served somebody on a silver platter that they can do something with, because now this guy is in the news. He can be, I was wronged by AEW, and I'm here back where I belong here in TNA. People feel
bad for him.
Yeah, people feel bad for him. He can rally behind the company can rally behind him, and he's not bogged down by the fact that he's 1/4 of the Rascals, who have had the same fucking gimmick for 10 years. A perfect example of these guys are stuck in this little gimmick, and they sometimes they break off, but the fact of the matter is that people see them as a package deal, and that probably hurts all three guys, or all four guys in general most of the time, because they're kind of stuck and they're typecast in this certain thing. Well, now this hard reset happens. Those three guys go to AEW to go do the same bullshit that they've been doing for 10 years. Oh, we smoke weed and we're adults. Hilarious. And Trey Miguel now can come back to TNA and be a totally new thing. And a star all to himself. So this is a fantastic thing for Trey Miguel and TNA, and I hope they take advantage of it.
Yeah. I mean, and he knows that it's not that AEW didn't want him; it's the network didn't want him.
Right.
So, if that could ever be overcome, the door would obviously be open to go, because Tony wanted him the first time. So, it's. It was a million years ago. The guy's kept his nose clean. I really think he got a raw deal. He hasn't. But look, this is a good thing for TNA. They're gift wrapped this thing for all the reasons you just said. He comes in, he's been in the news. There's going to be a sympathy factor, and he's a guy who the TNA fans, he's been there forever and they like him already. So it almost gives him a little boost.
Absolutely.
In TNA that he wouldn't have had otherwise if he never left.
Powerhouse Hobbs officially reported now by Fightful Select, Sean Ross Sapp, that he is signed by WWE. Not believed to be, he is signed.
Yeah.
Signed, sealed, delivered. Powerhouse
Hobbs. And the talk is that it's straight to the main roster, but we'll see.
Yeah. And finally, Tommaso Ciampa says that he will leave WWE at the expiration of his next deal. So now, is this a mutual decision? Is this him making it on his own? Either way, a guy who's been stuck in this place for a while, and they haven't really been doing much with him for a little while either. He's battled, of course, a lot of injuries, had his peak during the black and gold NXT era, and then it's kind of been floundering in the years since then. So I don't know. Either they said they weren't going to re-up him or he said, I'm good, but he is going to leave WWE at the expiration of his deal and I guess hit the road again. I don't know if he's going indies. I don't know what. Yeah, we'll see what he's doing. Maybe he's going to peel things back a little bit. He's an older guy at this point, but I still think he's a tremendous talent, and there's some potential there for Ciampa. So this is a guy, again, who I think, might find himself excited and rejuvenated by wrestling a little bit by leaving where he's been and trying out some new things, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's he decided not to re-sign or he knew they weren't going to re-sign him. You get the sense that it was his decision based on the things that he has said and knowing that it was, knowing it ahead of time, but I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. He's a talented guy. He is a little older now, and he does have an injury history. But we'll see what he wants to do. There is one more. This was pointed out to us in the Discord, and I wasn't sure if it was a joke or not, but it is true. So Brian Ishizaka is now officially part of the 0-1 roster. I found the tweet. He put out a tweet. So he worked the dojo show that I reviewed behind the paywall. And then on the 117 one-night tournament, which I also just reviewed behind the paywall, I didn't know this, but they brought him out before the show in the tracksuit and announced that he's part of the company now.
That's it.
Because they don't upload the whole show. You just get the match upload.
Yeah.
So, but he put out a little tweet, and it says, and it's in English. Well, no, it says translated from Japanese. There we go. So it says, I am Brian Ishizaka, who has newly joined 0-1. I am truly grateful to be able to fight in the 0-1 ring, and with full determination, I will give you everything I have in every single match. Please continue to support 0-1 and Brian Ishizaka from now on. And he's got the picture there with the fist up wearing the 0-1 tracksuit. So good for Brian Ishizaka. And I know that Junya Matsunaga and Yuki Toki were breaking his balls after that announcement on Twitter and having some fun with him. So there you go. Our nonstop 0-1 coverage continues with Brian Ishizaka officially joining the company on January 17th.
Makes its way to the flagship there. 0-1. 0-1 contract news. Where else are you going to get 0-1 contract news? Find me another podcast with the amount of listeners we have that it's going to give you 0-1 contract updates. Not going to find it. Guaranteed.
He's a decent little worker, too. So, it's good to see. If I'm going to watch these matches, I don't mind if they're going to add, a decent little worker to the promotion.
So let's go over the FSM 50. We released that list today on voicesofwrestling.com. Now, you and I are both part of the panel. You are, what's your title? A senior executive advisor? Is that your title?
I am the senior executive advisor of the FSM 50.
Yeah.
That's correct.
I took an advisor role this year, aka I didn't do anything but put the post up. I was busy with the baby and stuff.
You literally did nothing.
I did nothing. I didn't vote.
I senior executive advise.
Yeah, I did nothing.
On a day in, day out basis with Alan Forel. I was the tie-breaking vote for number one. So if you're upset that...
it was you.
It was me.
Oh,
so if you were upset that Konosuke Takeshita took the one spot and Kyle Fletcher is number two, you can direct your hatred at me. It was basically a dead heat in the voting. And as the senior executive advisor, Alan had handed me the decision. I struggled with it. I literally slept on it. I said, Alan, I got to sleep on it. You got to let me sleep on it. And he said, take your time.
I got to take a boner pill and I'll be right back. Yeah.
So I took, and I looked over the resumes and I did my homework and I thought about it and it was really hard, but I cast the deciding vote for Konosuke Takeshita. And then I edited everything. What did you do, Rich Craich? What did you do in your
I made it look pretty
role?
on the website. I made it look very pretty on the website.
Fair enough. Okay. So yeah,
I supported you guys the whole way by saying, "All right, yeah, go at it." I'm not gonna. I said, you know what I did? I said, I don't want to slow down the process, so I'm just not gonna vote this year. I'll be back next year, though.
Yeah. See, my job is to challenge Alan on some of the controversial placements, and then we will debate. I can tell you, I don't think I'm speaking out of school. I'll give you one person he defended basically with his fucking life when I questioned their placement. You want to take a stab at who it might have been?
Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yes. I was like, is Speedball a little high? He sent me a wall of text.
Oh, well, you know how I guessed that? Because a lot of people in our Discord were like, Speedball at 9, I don't know about that. And boom, Alan woke up or what, it was like 1:35 p.m. Our time, and Alan's like, "Whoa, hold on a minute," and I was like, "Oh, he's fiery Alan." Like,
yes,
I've seen Alan enough to know when there's fiery Alan, and he was like, "Now wait a minute, wait a goddamn minute," and he was ready to go with the resume, and I was like, "That man's prepared this argument before."
Man, I had the Alan is typing under there for about 6 minutes. And I was like, I'm about to get browbeat on this one. And he sent me a wall of text, and he made an art. I had my hands up by the end of it. I was like, you got it. You can move them up if you want. You got it, sir. So, he made a very compelling argument for the speedball Mike Bailey and his placement. But, the list is in. Can you believe that we have been hosting this for like 7 years now?
I know. I went to go make dude, I know. I went to go make the on our website now. I decided it should probably be a menu item. So if you go to FSM 50 and you hover over it or you click it, it brings every year that we voted on it. And I kept going, oh, we started in like 2021. I'm like, no, we did 2021. Or well, did we start in 2020? No, we started in 2020. And I kept going over the years, and I kept being like, God damn, we've been hosting this thing forever. In my mind, it was like in 2022 we did it. And that was our first one. I can't believe it's been since, what was it, 7 years now?
Well, it's been since FSM magazine folded. Because FSM went under. And I'll never forget, Brian Elliott, the editor, he asked for my phone number. And I gave it to him, and he called me. And I thought, I was like, what is happening? Am I getting fired? I thought I was just getting fired. I thought he was going to be like, Joe, I can't take you opening up another NXT review with takeovers always deliver, so you are fired. I can't take it anymore. But he didn't call me he did call me to fire me, but he called me to fire everybody. And inform me that the magazine was going under. So that was, now that I'm thinking about it, that probably was like 2017 or something, 2018, right? So then I didn't want to see the FSM 50, which goes back to even previous to that, to the Power Slam, the PS 50. I didn't want to see that die. So I remember pitching that, and out of respect, I went to Brian and Alan and said, hey, if we should continue this thing, we'll host it. Keep the name. We don't want the name, let's just keep it alive. Keep the voters together. I think it's a good thing. It's a good historical list for people to look back on.
And we got one of the OG voters too. We got Mo in the mix this year. Alan found Mo back, original Power Slam writer, way back in the day, and he voted this year. So that was really cool.
Yeah, because I'm like Tony Soprano. I came in at the end. I'm not even sure if I ever voted for the one in the magazine. I can't remember. I was on the staff at that time in the dying days, but I don't remember if I was involved in that process. I might have been for one or two of them. But I just didn't want to see it die. I thought that there was no reason it couldn't continue. And they were all about it. And, Brian even stuck with it a couple years just to oversee it and everything. And, and I guess we've been doing it for 7 fucking years now, So it's just the time is just, I don't know. Time is a flat circle, man. 1 minute you're taking a boner pill, the next minute it's getting recalled and they're telling you it could have killed you. It's just the time just moves very quickly.
It goes like crazy. Yeah. So the top 10 this year, you can see the full list again at voicesofwrestling.com. Top 10 was Konosuke Takeshita was number 1, Kyle Fletcher number 2, number 3 was Sari, number 4 Zack Sabre Jr., number 5 Jon Moxley, number 6 Jackie Kamei, number 7 Shun Skywalker, number 8 Bandito, number 9 Speedball Mike Bailey, and number 10 Mystico. So that is your top 10. Now, there's some pretty fun stats I wanted to read. Kim Wong of Wrestling with Thoughts and also at voicesofwrestling.com, Trapped in the Cage match. You can go see that series up at voicesofwrestling.com. Put some pretty good numbers together I thought was interesting to look at. Wrestlers who have appeared on the FSM 50 every single year from 2022 to 2025. So the last 4 years. These are everybody that appeared on every single list. But I think is really remarkable because it's not as big as you might think. And 50 names, and there's another thing too. You think 50 is a lot? It's really not. You go through this list, when you start making
your list, you run out of spots fast.
Yeah. And you have because I had when I voted in the past, I have a big long list of wrestlers or whatever that I'm thinking in my head, and then I put numbers next to them, and but there would be this situation where I'd get to 50 and I'd have 7 names left over, and I'm like, I can't have a top 50 about that person and that person and that. What am I going to do? These 5 people need to be on this top 50. What the fuck? What am I going to do here? It's hard. It's harder than you think. So the fact that it's a small list of people that have been on every 4 years, every 4 years since 2022. Will Ospreay, he had 3 straight years of number 1. 1, and then he was number 20 this last year. Obviously, missing a lot of the year via injury. Shun Skywalker's been on all 4 years. Hangman Adam Page, all 4 years. Kano, Kento Miyahara, Konosuke Takeshita, Mike Bailey, Shingo Takagi, and Tomohiro Ishii are the only guys to be on there every year, 2022 to 2025.
When you look at the list and you've seen it, look, you're probably tired of looking at the list at this point with all the work you put into posting it and everything and being involved in the process.
Well, no, I just posted. I wasn't involved in the process at all.
You were in the fucking group chats.
Yeah, I was in them. I was busy. I told Alan, I was like, I'm just going to be a burden this year. I'm busy. I'll be back next year. So,
all right. So looking at the list now.
Yes, I have seen the list a couple times today.
Does anything jump out at you as too high, too low? Where the fuck is this guy? Why isn't this girl there? Anything? What's the one where you're a little confused and you don't agree with it?
The one that got me was, let me see. There was one I was looking at earlier. I honestly think it's a pretty damn good list this year, to be honest. I thought Saya Kamatani I would have put a little bit higher this year, but I don't know that like everyone that's in front of her.
Saya Kamatani is 18th.
18th. Yeah, I would have probably found it. The thing with me though is there's a couple people in the top 10 that I don't think of on that level, and we're going to talk about one of them a little bit later. Bandito and Mike Bailey are two guys that I don't see on the. I don't think they're both top 10 workers in the world.
You don't think they're top 10 guys?
No. And I tend to think Jackie Kamei. I don't really see him as a top 10 worker either. I do like Shun Skywalker. I think him number 7 is maybe a little bit high this particular year. Although I haven't watched a ton of Dragon Gate this year, so I can't say. So those guys really stand out to me as I don't necessarily see those dudes as being top 10 guys, and I probably would have mixed things up a little bit more and probably would have had someone like a Mark Briscoe. I think he deserved top 10 this year. Thought he was a fantastic worker all year. Yeah. Roki Goto, I think, was a great worker all year. I would probably put him in the top 10.
Some injury time.
Yeah, and I think Saya Kamatani is probably a top 10 worker this year as well. So I would have found a way to get her in that top 10. But
so Bailey, Bandito, and Kamei out.
Yeah.
And Kamatani, Goto, and Briscoe in. Briscoe was 11. Goto was 13. And Kamatani was 18.
Yeah, so, I'm not grabbing anybody. I think for the most part, like I don't think Kevin Knight, number 43. I don't want him in the top 10. Like everybody I wanted in the top 10 was just out of it, so it wasn't like, oh, what a disaster. I would have maybe reworked the top 10 a little bit if it was me.
Okay, do you have a problem? Oh, late night TLB. Look at this.
Uh-oh. She heard those pills. she heard you playing with that blister pack.
She heard the crinkling of the blister pack of the pills, I think. She said, I forgot those pills. See, there's evidence that it's not. Oh, you heard me talking about the pills? Yeah. That's a good bit. People enjoy it. What do you got on under that robe there? Got nothing on, huh? Oh, okay. Coming down for some Cheez-Its.
Oh.
Figured. She's a Cheez-It fiend.
What kind of Cheez-Its are we talking?
What do we got there? Hold on. They want to know what flavor.
Extra
what do we
toasty?
Cheez-Its here? It's the extra cheesy.
Extra cheesy. Okay. This is
I think she polished off the pepper jack, I think, already.
Okay. This household is the toasty ones, the extra toasted or whatever. That's
extra toasty, and she likes the white cheddar as well.
Oh, okay.
Cheddar.
Yeah. I'm a traditionalist. I just like a classic Cheez-It, but
yeah, you don't like the Chikara Cheez-Its.
No, extra toasty's fine. I do like the extra toasty, but I don't need the Chikara. I don't need like pepper jack or any of that stuff. Yeah.
See, normally she'd be coming down here for the banana bread Pop-Tarts, but the problem is they were a limited time.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So when I saw them on markdown, I bought like the last 8 boxes, and she finally finished after a very long.
It's so sad, yeah.
And now she's like searching Amazon for them, and I'm like, look, they're gone. They're gone forever. And if you get them now, they're going to be stale because they discontinued them, and it's just whatever people have sitting around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In some dusty warehouse or something. So it's back to the Cheez-Its. All right, let's refocus on this FSM 50. Do you have a problem with just 2 WWE wrestlers? The WWE wrestlers being Javon Evans at 36 and Io Sky at 33. And then Gunther, an honorable mention.
Not really. No, I really don't.
So do Javon Evans and Io Sky? Are you happy they were on the list? Those two
I think Io probably belongs. I probably would have had her like way towards the back because a lot of people are like way infatuated with her year, and I don't think she's had a very good year at all. I think Javon's had a pretty good year. I'd definitely have Javon Evans in there. I just think they're both like in the 40s. I would say. I'd probably have Io Sky somewhere in that low 40s, and Javon Evans probably in the same way. As well. I think there's a lot better. The fact that like Starlight Kid is behind Io Sky is wild to me. Ultimo Guerrero, at 42, like that dude should be way higher than Io Sky and Javon Evans or whatever. So I don't know. It's just, I think that representation for WWE is fine because they're not a company that really values or produces a lot of great in-ring matches, and that's what people are voting on in this FSM 50 is.
Yeah, I should note there's someone in the chat saying that Kamatani outdrew this person. None of that matters. The criteria here is simply in-ring work. That should be pointed out. So, and you just brought that up as well. WWE, I think that, okay, so let me ask you this. I haven't seen a lot of the reactions yet. Has the list broken into that corner of the fandom, and who are they complaining about?
I haven't seen that much. I saw one thread where somebody was bitching like preemptively about no WWE guys, and a bunch of other people were like, there are WWE guys. There's Io Sky and Javon Evans, and then they challenged this person to name who else they would have in there, and that person just never responded. You know what I mean? Because it's one of those things, and that kind of happens every single year is people go, that's fucking ridiculous. There's no WWE people in there. And then everyone always says, like, are we, if anybody will challenge them and say, okay, who? Like, who do you take out and who do you put in? And that never gets an actual response. Nobody actually ever says anybody. They just go, there's just got to be somebody. There's got to be somebody from WWE in this list.
We do usually hear Seth Rollins. That's one that they usually bring up.
That's true.
They're perplexed every year that Seth Rollins doesn't make the list. He usually gets votes. This year, he didn't even get votes. He didn't get a single vote this year. So usually he at least gets a little support, but just doesn't get enough points. I'm looking through everyone that received a vote. Other than the three that I mentioned, Gunther, Io Sky, and Javon Evans, who else from WWE got a vote? I'm not really seeing anybody. Hold on.
Gunther's probably one where I could see if you wanted to. That might be the guy that they go for this year.
Yeah, we had him in the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Cena got votes.
Okay.
I didn't exactly push hard to get him in there.
No.
Gunther had enough votes. If we wanted to squeeze him in on the bottom, we could have, but it wasn't like a robbery situation. He didn't have we would have had to put him in over people that had more points than him. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why we left him out. As I go through, unless I missed someone, I think that's it. Oh, Stephanie Vakir. She got votes.
Okay, yeah.
I could see that for sure. And that's it. So just five got vote. Well, I'm thinking about it. Who else would you vote for?
Yeah,
You're voting for Punk. You're voting for Drew McIntyre, maybe, or you're voting for. Who?
They don't. Yeah, they don't produce. That's a company that just actively does not produce. Like nobody wrestles well there. I don't know how to phrase it, but we watch all these shows. Like we watch all these pay-per-views. We watch them all. They just don't. They don't value it, and most times the matches don't reach those levels, or
they're
they
competent matches.
Yeah, they're all just very competent matches.
Axiom and Nathan Frazier got votes too. I missed them.
Yeah, see, they were like a last year thing. They haven't been.
They were I agree. I thought they had a better year last year.
Yeah, they didn't do much this year.
I pushed for them hard last year, because I thought they really deserved some attention. I don't know. Nothing else really jumps out at me as glaring on the list. Part of that is because I already did this and put in my 2 cents and got some of the movement that I wanted, and got rejected too on a lot of it. And just if Case is listening, Case, I laid off of all of the Dragon Gate guys because I did not watch enough of it. So I just trusted the process on every Dragon Gate wrestler, and I stayed out of it. So if any of the Dragon Gate wrestlers moved down or moved up, it wasn't me. And you could ask Alan. I'll testify to that. I stayed out of it. I stayed out of the Dragon Gate guys, and I stayed out of even most of the Joshi, because there's only a couple here that I watched a handful of matches on. So, I'm not going to poke my beak in when I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But, yeah, I thought it was a really solid list. I've been less happy with the list in the past. I thought this was one of the better lists that we've put together. Anything else in the FSM 50?
Real quick, I thought it was interesting from Kim did run numbers on this. The people that fell off the 2024 list, Bryan Danielson was number 2 last year, and he fell off the list. Obviously, he didn't wrestle, so that's a big one. Yuma Anzai, he was hurt, and I guess he was he necessarily hurt, or he just was taking time away or whatever. But Yuma Anzai dropped from 8th to off the list. Swerve Strickland was 12th last year and fell off the list. Kaito Kiyomiya was 13th last year and fell off the list. Luke Jacobs was 16th last year and fell off the list. And Pac was 22nd. He fell off the list for last year as well. So I just thought those were interesting because those, especially a couple of top 15 people there with Danielson. Yeah. Obviously, he makes all the sense in the world, but yeah, Swerve, Kiyomiya, and someone like a Luke Jacobs is kind of fun to see.
Swerve had some injury time.
Yeah,
he probably could have been on the list. I think I actually brought him up, but I didn't go 15 rounds with Alan. I just said, hey, what about Swerve? And it was a no. The thought was there was a lot of AEW already, and he just didn't have the points. Pac, he missed a lot of time. Who else?
Luke Jacobs was another one.
Oh yeah, he had a better year last year.
Yeah, and Kaito Kiyomiya, who just did not have a. He had a really good year last year, but had just an okay. Or a really, really, really good 2024, but was just fine last year. So
yeah, I don't think he had any kind of special year. I don't see him as any kind of snub.
Anzai going from 8th to off the list and he was gone again, like a lot. But yeah, hopefully he should be back on this list here in 2026. He's off to a really good start. Well, I guess no, that technically that match was from 2025, but yeah, he should.
Yes, it was.
He should have a good year this year. So I'd imagine he'll be back on this list.
I don't think there's going to be many years without Yuma Anzai.
No.
He'll be on the list provided he's healthy pretty much every year.
All right, let's go to that's the FSM 50, by the way. The whole list is available right now at voicesofwrestling.com. Definitely recommend reading the whole list, reading the write-ups. It's not just a list of names. People do little write-ups, little capsules about every single person. So definitely go out there. You can see all the voters. You can follow all their work as well. So again, it's up at voicesofwrestling.com. There's a little image on the sidebar too. It's one of the top posts, so you'll find it there. There's also a little image on the sidebar. You'll see Konosuke Takeshita, say FSM 50. Just click that. You'll get the whole list, and also a historical list as well. At the bottom of that is a table of every results that has ever happened in the FSM Power Slam 50 is all right there. So you can go through the historical run of this entire countdown and see where people landed, where people were, who were the other top number ones and top 10s over the years or whatever. So really cool to go look at that. But again, voicesofwrestling.com for all of that. So, all right, let's talk about AAA on Fox. Latin America. Fox Latin America. I did, after last week when you said that all the grifters and all these horrible aggregators were all, I went and checked, and you're right. They all say AAA is debuting on Fox this weekend. And I was like, you gotta qualify that. You can't say Fox. You gotta say Fox Latin America, right? It's a different animal. If you're an American-based, mostly United States trafficked like wrestling website, you can't say Fox. You got to say Fox Latin America, right?
It's a situation where the aggregators don't know any better. They don't care. They're just copying what they see.
Apparently, they're incapable of thought or analysis or anything. They can't do anything.
Listen, what do I always say about aggregators? It's the lowest form of media. These aren't smart people. I mean, AI is going to take their jobs over, and good. And and they just, that's what they do. They just they're leeches. They're just utter leeches, talentless, and that's what you get. But obviously this is not on Fox proper United States. This is Fox Latin America. I believe they did a full-on taping, and they're going to air every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks or something like that. Or are they airing every week? I don't know what the deal is.
Let me double check. I think it might be
weekly.
I thought it was weekly, but let me double check that
weekly
to make sure I have it right.
Well, Cage Match says weekly, but
I think it's weekly. I'm of the impression. You know what? No. Yeah, weekly.
Okay, so all right, we get to come on here every week.
Oh God, dude, I don't know about that. One thing that I noted, and I didn't notice this until one of the YouTube
Sunday
commenters.
TV review. Get into it, Rich. Let's go.
It's a AAA on Fox.
It airs on Saturdays. You can
Latin
do it.
America. Yeah.
If I could do Impact, you could do this.
It was only an hour. I will say it was only an hour. One thing that was noted, and I saw it in one of the comments on YouTube, because I watched this thing on YouTube. Obviously, I did not get my antenna out and grab Fox Latin America so I could watch it. I watched it on YouTube. And one of the first comments was, and I believe it was, I don't know if it was an American fan or a Mexican fan. I don't know who it was. But somebody pointed out something that was perfect. And they said, okay, so this thing is called WWE AAA now. They put the WWE logo on the AAA, on top of the AAA logo. So it's literally WWE AAA now. Correct. The intro to this show was the normal ass, then, now, together, forever WWE video, right?
I didn't pay attention.
It was, and I didn't either until this person made this comment. Then I went back, and it was.
Yeah.
So it was just the normal Hulk Hogan and Gorilla Monsoon and Pat Patterson. That whole shit. That whole normal Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H. That whole video that we've seen 1,000 times. John Cena, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And someone in the comments said, "I wonder why WWE, or will they do this? Are they going to ever add AAA legends to that video? Are they going to make a specific video for AAA, because it's really weird that this intro is just showing all these American wrestlers and then saying, all right, here you go. Now it's AAA, WWE AAA on Fox Latin America." And a lot of people in the comments are like, yeah, I don't know. And most people are just like, no, they're probably not going to. I think people are now finally seeing it. And I'm seeing it. We had a YouTube video about this relationship back when it started in April. And we said this is how it was going to go, and they don't give a fuck about AAA. They don't give a fuck about Lucha. They don't give a fuck about history. They don't care. They're just going to come here. They want to just have something in Mexico. They want to stick it to AEW. They want to stick it to CMLL. They don't actually care about the history of Lucha Libre. They do not care about the history of Mexican wrestling. They don't care about AAA. And I feel like the comments in that video when it first happened were people telling us, oh, you're wrong. No, that's not what's going to happen. Lately, like the last couple of weeks, a lot of people are like, oh, you guys are right. This is almost exactly how it's gone since then, which is, of course, is how it's going to go. But I thought that comment was really telling, because it speaks to what I talked about with the TNA, and kind of coming full circle with the TNA discussion of that's how much they think of AAA is, okay, The Undertaker, Jeremy Borash, and Pete Dunne are going to come in and tell you guys how to do wrestling, because you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing over here. We're going to say that Lucha Libre was a sideshow. They literally made a video where they said Lucha Libre was a sideshow, but now it's getting to the major leagues, and now it's going to become a real thing, which is utterly ridiculous to come in 2026 and say, oh, yeah, well, Lucha Libre was just a sideshow, and blah, 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 but now we're here, so we're going to legitimize it. And it's just, you watch this show, and it was a WWE show that just happened to have Lucha talent on it. We start with an in-ring promo from Rey Mysterio, which I feel like every AAA show starts with Rey Mysterio, right? Doing an in-ring promo. And he does a 20-minute in-ring promo. Then we have a match that's 4 minutes. Then we have a promo. Then we have a backstage promo. Then we have a match that's 3 minutes. Then we have a backstage promo, a Dominic video that we're going to talk about a little bit, a 13-minute main event, and then like debuts and turns. And this was an American-style show that just happened to have Lucha talent on it, and it has a WWE like intro video on it, and they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about AAA at all. AAA is nothing to them, and they see it as beneath them clearly, and they're going to come in here and tell their stories in the way that wrestling is supposed to be. And it's just like, I don't know how you can watch this and not just be disgusted by everything that this thing represents.
Yeah, it's we've talked about it before, but it's completely losing whatever identity it had. But it's hard to really be just in a vacuum as a wrestling fan watching wrestling matches. It's hard to be that upset about it, because it was a terrible product when it had its own identity. It's not a great product or anything now, but the fact of the matter is this is just WWE south of the border. I mean, in presentation, in match layout, in match style, there's no denying that. And it's so funny how they just go out there and preach how, they send Rey Mysterio out there to do the rah-rah speech and talk about the roots of traditional Lucha Libre all the time. It is not. It is not. And not only that, what I find interesting about that is AAA was always kind of the rebellious renegade promotion that wasn't traditional Lucha
Right. It was
Libre.
the sports entertainment Lucha company for a while. Since
From day one.
Yeah.
Antonio Pena brought all of his wacky ideas that his former bosses would have never allowed, and he started his own thing, and they were always like this rebellious outside. Now, listen, they did more best of 3 fall matches in the early days and all those things, and it more closely resembled traditional lucha. And then as the years moved along, that all just fucking went away. There was nothing about recent vintage AAA that resembled traditional lucha. That's a joke. And there's nothing about this version of AAA that resembles traditional lucha. No. And no matter how many times JBL says it, it's not true. No matter how many times Rey Mysterio goes out there and says it, and I'm real disappointed in him.
Oh, he sucks, yeah.
I understand it's his job. I understand he has marching orders. I understand he started, like, AAA is his promotion. I get it. But there's ways to put AAA over without completely selling out the history of Lucha Libre the way he does. Maybe I'm being a little harsh. I just think there's other ways to do it. But him going out there talking about traditional Lucha Libre and the heart of Lucha Libre, it makes you want to puke. It really does. Okay? But yeah, it's the more that time passes, and we knew this was going to be the case, they even come out to bad, like, WWE produced music as their entrance themes and all of this. And
there's like backstage promos with like random and what's so weird about this is you're watching this on YouTube or whatever. So, you know, I'm assuming obviously if it's Fox Latin America, you're getting Spanish language announcers and all that sort of stuff. But we're watching this on YouTube for American audiences or whatever. They do these promos. Like Wagner Jr. was in the ring doing a promo or Wagner 3, I guess, was in the ring doing a promo for like 10 minutes. Because that's what they do. They just walk into the ring in a tuxedo and do promos now in the middle of the ring. Because that's how wrestling is supposed to be done. And they're talking and talking and talking. And Ray did this for his opening promo too. But they're talking in Spanish, and WWE doesn't give a fuck about you. So they're not translating anything because the people that are there are Corey Graves and JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield and Corey Graves, who probably don't know a lick of Spanish. So Rey Mysterio is in the ring here for 15 minutes just speaking Spanish, and there's silence. You don't know anything. You don't know what he's saying. You have no translation. Corey Graves isn't saying, oh, what he's saying there is da-da-da-da. Like, you're getting none of that. And then Wagner cuts a promo, and you're getting none of that. And it's just like, could you give a little bit of care and at least say, you know what? Let's translate this promo. Let's have somebody with some modicum of understanding of Spanish on the commentary booth here so we can maybe translate these things. Eventually, they brought Ray on there, but Ray's not very good at commentary, and he wasn't very good at translating stuff. Conan would probably do a horrible job of translating it too, but it's just like, if you're going to do we're going to stand in the ring and do 20-minute promos or whatever, at least for the audience that doesn't know Spanish, can we at least have a clue what's going on if you're going to do these in-ring promos or whatever? But it's all just weird. But like, you watch the show, and like you said, it is a WWE produced event. I mean, we go backstage to an interview woman who says, my guest at this time, Vikingo. And Vikingo walks in from the left and cuts and it's like, what is this? Who the fuck wants this? But this is the right way. This is how wrestling is done. This is the correct way to do wrestling, Joe. This is how it's done. And God bless. This is how Lucha Libre is. Yeah, JBL, this is traditional Lucha Libre. You're going to love it. Oh, it's Lucha Libre at its best. Is it?
JBL has just become a complete and total shill. I mean, when he was on that podcast we talked about earlier with Bischoff and Rod and Conrad, he was the only one who wouldn't criticize the TNA show at all. I mean, I'm not even sure he watched it, to be honest, because he was just like, yeah, with all the star power that TNA has, there's no way they can fail. Frankie Kazarian and Mike Santana, these are major stars. And it's like, you don't believe that.
What are you talking about, dude?
He's like, I thought it was great. This was great pro wrestling on a Thursday night. And it's like, you don't believe that. You either didn't watch or he works for that company and he's just going to shill whatever he's told to shill or whatever's adjacent to WWE, and he really adds nothing. I will say this. Corey Graves is great, and he doesn't have an easy job because he has to walk the line of doing WWE-style commentary, but it's also very obvious that he pays attention, does his homework, and likes wrestling. So he tries to like do both at the same time, and it's not easy for him. But he is definitely someone who I get the sense that Corey Graves, when he's off the clock, is watching wrestling for fun. I really do believe that because or he's just great at doing crash course studying before these shows. And I don't think that's it. I just think that he, his brother's in the business.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he's learned and understand and
he knows. There was an anecdote that I had, but I forgot because he knew something about some wrestler. And anyway, I lost it. But the point is, I think he does a really good job on these shows. But as far as the show itself, I mean, you had the Ray promo, and then La Parca Iguana and Nino Hamburguesa, like gimmick team over Los Vipers. The one thing I'll say about this show is the first 2 matches were really squashes and showcases for the people who won. These matches weren't structured the way they normally would have been structured. I mean, they just squashed the Vipers team. I mean, they barely, the Vipers barely got anything here. This was just to put over the 3 gimmick acts that WWE likes, because these guys get booked on, well, Hamburguesa doesn't, but the other 2 have gotten booked on NXT
Hamburger
shows.
Boy, that's my boy Hamburger Boy. I love him. JBL, he knows nothing about this guy.
Yeah, it's nothing. He's like,
I love it, Corey, Hamburger Boy. It's like,
what's not to like? He likes hamburgers and he's tough as nails. And I'm like, he's tough as nails? That's never been
not
his
the
gimmick.
Yeah. Corey, I love it, Hamburger Boy. I love it. It's like, what is this? Who is this for?
He's a comedy wrestler. When has he ever
nails.
exhibited that he's tough as nails? So yeah, it's just a squash. And then the second match too with Flammer, Lady Shani got nothing. She just squashed her. And I thought they really struggled with what they were asked to do. They're not used to working a 5-minute TV match where someone's just going over strong.
No,
I don't think.
No.
And they I didn't think that they handled the task. And there was, and they still managed to squeeze in outside interference. You had Lola Vice out there, and Lahi Ejra and Lady Maravilla were out there. So it was a fucking mess. And, again, just American TV style. And then, like you said, they even have their own interview robot now. They have their own interview robot in the back, the pretty lady with the nice smile who does these awful Monday Night Raw style. She knocked on a locker room door. They actually did the trope where she's knocking on the locker room door of Vikingo, and then Dorian Roldan, fucking Ben Stiller doing a fucking lucha gimmick.
He sucks so much.
Answers the door, and they do this whole bit and everything. And they're like, God, am I watching fucking SmackDown or am I watching AAA? This fucking sucks. And for all you guys, Rich is going to review it every Sunday morning TV review. AAA on Fox.
It is only an hour. I got to admit, it is only an hour. So I might, I don't know.
Fox, quote, parentheses, Latin America. He's going to be all over it. Then they had Wagner 3 cut a promo in the ring, and then Phantasma comes out, and this was kind of embarrassing for him because he comes out in his old mask, and then he shakes his hand or whatever, and then turns on him. He takes the mask off. It's Santos Escobar. I don't think those people knew who the fuck Santos Escobar is, though.
No idea who this
was. It's supposed to be
was.
this big angle, like he takes the mask off, and of course Corey Graves has to pretend he doesn't know who it is under the mask.
Rey Mysterio did that too. He goes, "Who's that? Who is it?"
Come on. Yeah.
He's in his old mask, and I saw Cubs fan wrote about that too. It's like it's anybody that's watching this, like if you're any fan of any, you know who this person is. If you've ever watched AAA before, it's his old mask or whatever. But again, this show is for dummies and goldfish brain WWE fans now. So we have to pretend that nobody has any clue who this person could possibly be. Even Rey Mysterio has to pretend, who could it be? And then he unmasks and he goes, "Who is that? Who is that?" And Corey goes, "Oh, I think is that Santos Escobar?" And it's like, what is this?
Yes,
what is
the mask
this?
is off. We know it's Santos Escobar.
God,
we're still doing this. But listen, the fans didn't know, so maybe they didn't know either. So the angle fell very flat. And then they did a Dirty Dom pre-tape.
This is the famous pre-tape that has Dominic Mysterio, because they used AI for whatever gimmick they were going for, and it briefly showed Dominic as the AEW World Champion and not the AAA World Champion. So
wow. And then Vikingo against El Grande Americano, and Vikingo, of course, full-on heel now. Yes, these AAA fans have turned El Grande Americano, a gimmick intended to mock them, into a babyface. And just a fucking schmodge. You got Roldan interfering. You got Omos comes out.
Oh my God. So the Omos thing, it's one of these classic, WWE things too, where the announcers cannot see anything that's not on the screen.
Right.
So Americano's outside the ring. I'm trying to explain this in the best way possible for the people that didn't see it. He's outside the ring, and all of a sudden he's like reaching, and he touches a boot.
Right.
And then the camera pans up.
Slowly pans up,
and it's Omos. And the announcers go, what? It's Omos. It's like,
hold on. You didn't see the 7'7" black guy march out to the ring?
That's what I'm saying. Like, just because now we're seeing him on camera, can we just go like, well, what's going on here, Corey? Do you see it? I see it. Yeah, he's there. Like, not even that. We have to pretend that we had not seen him until Americano touches his boot and the camera pans up. And then and only then have we seen one of the largest men on earth. Gigantic Nigerian man.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking stupid.
All in front of the ref, and it's like, whatever. And then Ray comes out with his kendo stick. He comes out with his bamboo training sword and chases everybody off. So just a horrible show. I don't know how you're going to get through these reviews every Sunday morning on voicewrestlingpatreon.com, but not great. Not great. Are they going to keep showing this on WWE's YouTube? Is that the plan?
I hope not, and then I won't be able to review it. Or I hope they do, so I can review it, I should say. I have no idea. I have no earthly idea if they're going to keep showing these.
Can I give you this week's lineup and maybe entice you?
Sure.
So we've got Wagner 3 defending the AAA Latin American title.
It is airing this weekend on WWE's YouTube channel.
Against Mecha Wolf. Does that interest you?
Run that back.
Wagner 3 defends the AAA Latin American title against Mecha Wolf.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got a 3-way for the AAA tag team titles as Pagano and Psycho Clown put the titles up against the Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh.
And the Tokyo Bad Boys, Kento and Takuma.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I piqued your interest.
Hold on. Keep talking.
A little SB Kento for those who don't know, and Takuma Fujiwara. And then the main event is for the AAA Cruiserweight title, another 3-way. Laredo Kid defends that prestigious strap against Mini Vikingo and Octagon Jr. 3-way. Mini Vikingo.
Why are we doing the 3-way here? Who do we not want to?
Because it's AAA. I don't know.
So we don't want to pin. So Mini Vikingo was going to get pinned. We don't want to pin
Octagon Jr. They don't really protect him.
I don't know. That's weird. I'm trying to figure out why that's a triple threat match. But
because it's modern pro wrestling,
right.
And we have to do 3-way matches for no reason.
Right, because Jeremy Borash, The Undertaker, and Pete Dunne have decided that's what has to happen. So.
Does The Undertaker really book this? I have to know.
They always say he is, and I just need to know. I need to see the WWE Unreal episode where The Undertaker with his spit cup is sitting back in his chair going, I don't know. We got Flommer and Lady Shani. I'm not sure. What do we want to do here, Pete? As Pete Dunne,
what if we have Maravilla grab her boot?
Right. As Pete Dunne with a yellow legal pad is like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. I got to see it.
Pete Dunne in that same beige duster that he wears every time he's doing a photo shoot.
I got to see it.
Mustard-colored duster.
Yeah, exactly the one you're talking about. Yeah.
You know the one.
Yep.
And then he's like, not the way, Mark. Not the way. We don't want to do all fuck finishes here. It's not the way, Mark. I don't know. Does he really have a hand in this?
I don't know. They always say he does, but I just can't.
I
can't fathom him doing anything. I can fathom Borash being told, this is what you're going to do now, and him being like, all right, yeah, whatever. I could see Pete Dunne finding it interesting to do, so that's not it. But I cannot fathom Mark Calloway with like a backwards hat. He's definitely got like the backwards hat on, right? Right.
With the no doubt about it.
With the spit cup.
Yeah. He's like, I gotta tell you who's got the stuff. That Arrow Star, he just impresses me.
Right.
Every time I see him, he just jumps off the screen. There's no way. There's not a fucking chance that this is. It's gotta just be some like Like when colleges give fake degrees to celebrities, like it's just a ceremonial position.
Has
Like
to
there's
be.
no way he's in the weeds with this. Like laying out 6-month plans for La Hiedra. He's not doing it. No fucking way.
Not a chance.
Did I entice you with the lineup?
Kinda. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Kinda.
It's not a bad lineup.
It's not a bad lineup. Yeah.
I mean,
it is going to be streaming on their YouTube. So
it's 100% going to let you down.
oh yeah, it's going to suck, and I'm going to be very annoyed by my guests at this time and all that stuff. But
Without a doubt. All right. Let's transition to the actual traditional Lucha Libre. How about that?
let's do that.
So how much of these CMLL weekend shows did you see?
All right, so I saw all of the Friday show. I saw none of the Saturday show, and I watched the top 2 from the Sunday.
All right, well, let's go through it, and you can jump in where appropriate because
Okay.
I'm not going to remember anything you just said. So Friday, sold out Arena Mexico. Lots of AEW, AAA, lots of AAA talent on
That'd be
these Arena
impressive,
Mexico shows.
yeah.
Breaking news audio. Lots of AEW talent. Now, I guess we should talk big picture. Controversial, these shows. Not just a lot of AEW wrestlers, but there was a lot of, I guess, hand-wringing by some of the CMLL fans that too many of the AEW wrestlers went over, that AEW was shooting angles for their television on these shows, that there was too much bending over backwards to allow the AEW talent to work American-style matches. So there was a lot of hand-wringing in those directions. I didn't know about any of this because I watched all this unspoiled. I saw it all after the fact. When I was watching in real time, I did think to myself halfway through the second show, a lot of AEW wrestlers are winning their matches here. And I was wondering if CMLL would get their heat back, so to speak, or whatever. The American style matches, that didn't bother me as much. I think if you're going to do an ROH pure rules title match with Lee Moriarty, that you should do ROH pure rules. I mean, that's the title that's being defended. And I think that if Dynamite featured a CMLL trios title match or something, and they did best of 3 falls with captains, that wouldn't bother me as an AEW fan. I would think that was really cool. So I'm thinking about it in reverse. If I was a CMLL fan who was in Arena Coliseo on Saturday night, and I was a big wrestling mark, and I was seeing a ROH pure title match, I'd want to see it under the pure rules. Are you with me on that, or do you disagree?
No, I'm with you on that part. I think there's an interesting point that Cubs made, but go on, and then I'll kind of give you what he said that had me thinking. Actually, that does make a little bit of sense.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. Now the ROH pure rules are very confusing, and I think that it wouldn't be easy for just a common fan who's out for a night of wrestling to understand what the fuck is going on. Even when they put them on the screen, it was like the usual wall of text. And if you're just there drinking a beer, you're not reading all that. You're like, all right, whatever. It's going to be a wrestling match. And you might get look. But I'm just looking at it. If I was a smark who lived in Mexico who went to this show, it wouldn't have bothered me that they had an ROH pure match. I'd want them to have an authentic ROH pure match is all I'm saying. And as far as all the one fall matches and everything, I got to be honest, CMLL gets away from that on a regular basis a lot of the time too, where they'll do a big main event without any outside talent. And we've talked about that. And it's like, it'll be one fall. And it's like, it's just not something, they just don't always do best of 3 falls anymore. So I understand the complaints. I agree with some of them. I don't agree with all of them. What's your overall take on all
So
this?
I didn't really care that much, but then Cubs, LuchaBlog.com actually had a really good point about this. He said one of the things that CMLL has been doing since WWE purchased AAA is advertising themselves as traditional Lucha Libre. We're really Mexico. They're fake Mexico. I forget exactly the terminology they use, but kind of paraphrasing, like, this is where real Lucha Libre is. That other thing you now know is not Lucha Libre anymore, but we represent Mexico and we represent Lucha Libre. So on a weekend where that is being promoted by, CMLL, that we're real Lucha Libre and that other shit is fake. And look, it was. Look, AAA on Saturday, that was American sports entertainment.
Yes, it was an American show.
Yeah, so they're I get it. But then to Cubs fans' point, you can't. It seems a little two-faced to advertise that and then have a show that's so, and a weekend that's so filled with American wrestlers, one fall matches, pure rules, angles being done. But I get the thing I don't really care. The reason it doesn't bother me as much is this was advertised as International Weekend or whatever. You know what I mean? To me, it seems if this happens every single week, and now all Arena Mexico shows are like this, I get the complaint. If it's one weekend out of it, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay. And that doesn't bother me that much. But I do get his complaint. When I read that, I said, okay, I see where people are coming from. That you're saying, well, we really represent what Mexican culture and Mexican wrestling is all about, and that other thing is all fake, and then basically do a weekend where you're kind of doing one fall matches and Americans are winning most of these matches. Right, I get it. Right. I get it. I get it.
I didn't read anything that Cubs wrote. I understand that, and that makes sense. It's kind of like talking out of both sides of your mouth. I did see what Rob Viper wrote on Twitter, and his whole thing was, look, I didn't love all his gist of what he wrote was, I didn't love all this either, but make no mistake, Tony Khan didn't book these shows. He's like, if too many AEW wrestlers went over, that's on CMLL as much as it's as you want to put it on AEW, because they're the ones booking these shows. And I guess to some degree, I see what he's saying. But at the same time, clearly Roderick Strong had to go over because they were setting up a Roderick Strong Claudio Castagnoli match for an American show, for an AEW show. And he beat Hechicero, who's a split contract wrestler. Okay. Now, you could argue that the CMLL fans might not want to see Hechicero lose. Maybe they're not even aware he's a split contract wrestler and they just see him as one of their own. Maybe you could have stuck someone else in that spot instead of Hechicero. Like, right. I could see those kind of arguments. You have a million guys on the roster. Like, you could use someone else, or you could even use one of the AEW, the pure AEW guys who are in for the tour. So you're not beating another CMLL adjacent guy. So I do see both sides of it. But, man, I had a scratchy throat and I'm all out of fucking, I don't have any more Coke Z's, and I've been drinking these Diet Mountain Dews that are sitting in the back of the fridge. But
I think Diet Mountain Dew stinks.
Well, that's why they're sitting in the back of the fridge.
Yeah, it just doesn't taste very good.
I'm struggling here. But yeah, so anyway, there were some controversies coming out of it from that standpoint. So, we'll see. I think I'm with you. I think because this was a special weekend, I think that's why they did a lot of the things they did. But as we go through it, we'll see how many I'm going to mark it off as we go through, and we'll see if it was dominated one side by AEW, and we don't have to go super deep on all these matches. But my boy Coyote, he lost. Coyote and Polvora. So Hijo del Pantera and Mágica Blanca go over in the opener, and it was a. By the way, sellout on Friday night. I believe Saturday in Arena Coliseo sold out as well, and
they did.
And I think it was sold out early. I don't know. Did Sunday probably?
I think Sunday did as well.
And Sunday sold out too. I mean, you know what? This AEW shit draws. I mean, Mystico wasn't even on the first show, right? Nope. I just realized that.
Nope.
Mystico didn't even work Friday. He didn't work Sunday either. So, I mean, listen, there's your answer right there why they're going to do this. It doesn't mean you have to be happy about it if you don't like it. But anyway, we had Cobarde, Falino, and Hio Di Stuca Jr. over Futuro, Max Star, and Valiente Jr. You got any big breakdown to that?
No, I know everybody else likes him, but the fucking mini monkey, I hate him so much. I hate him.
Do it, Rich.
I'll leave it alone.
I will say this at the start of the show, and CMLL does this a lot for a promotion that doesn't really give a shit about their titles. They did this for, I think, a set of tag titles a few weeks ago. They had that national title on that fucking title stand, and they had the ring announcer out there putting this fucking thing over that you're going to see this super important AEW national title later. And I do think that's a nice touch when they do that. Cavanario and Sobrano Jr. over the Gates of Agony. What'd you think of the Gates of Agony this weekend?
I thought they were great in this match.
You did? Okay, because they've been getting a lot of criticism for not trying to work the lucha style.
I mean, I don't think I ever expected Bishop Khan and Toa Leona to work at the lucha style. I thought this was, I like this match a lot. I thought Cavanario and Sober, I thought it was a really fun blend of styles where you have this American power style Gates of Agony against the fucking Caveman and Soberano Juniors. And those guys are flying around and bouncing around and trying to do their lucha shit. And these guys are big fucking bulls and they're just tossing them around or so. I when this was over, I was surprised because I saw a lot of criticism that you're talking about. I saw, and I was like, "Fuck, I love that match." I thought that was a perfect like clash of styles type of match. So I loved it. I had a lot of fun with this match.
Blue Panther and Ultimo Guerrero.
Oh God, was this great? This is my favorite match of the entire weekend of all everything I saw.
No fucking way!
I loved it.
It was really good. I'm surprised it's your favorite match of the whole weekend, but
those guys busted their fucking asses, man. Oh, the Blue Panther doing what he does at the age that he is insane. Because he gets up to the top rope and everyone's just like, oh, like what's he gonna do here? He does a fucking hurricane run. I mean, it looks perfect. It looks perfect, and I'm like, God damn it, that dude's so old and he's still doing that. Think about that. Blue Panther, man. He's like, what is he? What is Blue Panther these days? 65 years old.
Yeah. He doesn't wrestle good for an old guy. He just wrestles good.
Right. Yes.
You know, it's great. And Ultimo Guerrero's no spring chicken, and he just had a great year. And he
was really good this whole year. Yeah.
Yeah. He's, so yeah, what a fun match that was. That was so much fun. Roddy beat Hechicero. We talked about it already. This was for the number one contender for the CMLL heavyweight title, and then that set up the match against Claudio back in the United States. Roddy got mixed reviews on the weekend.
He was not good in this match. I thought he was a little.
I thought he was fine.
He was fine.
He didn't blow anybody's doors off, but I don't know. I thought he was fine. It was Roderick Strong. I mean, it wasn't peak Roderick Strong from 2006, but I thought he was fine. Ricochet Teton. Now, I enjoyed the fuck out of this. I thought this match was pretty great. And the one thing is later on in the weekend, not in this match, but in the match where Teton wrestled Commander on Sunday. Did you see that?
I did.
I'm not trying to jump ahead, but they were booing Teton and cheering Commander, which I found interesting because Commander's technically the outsider in this scenario. But Ricochet, obviously, well, I guess not obviously. He could have dropped this title, I guess. What's the big deal? But he defends against Teton in what I thought was one of the better matches of the weekend. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it was good. It really, really good stuff. Yeah, I still think Blue Panther and Ultimo was my favorite match of the Friday, but this was great. I thought Ricochet, I had no doubt that he would go out here and work his ass off, but Teton is a guy who I always think I don't like Teton as much as I do, and then I watch him work, and I'm like, Teton fucking rocks, man. Like, I thought he had a great weekend, and the two matches that I saw him were phenomenal. The Commander one we're going to talk about here in a little bit, I really liked, and this Ricochet Teton, I mean, Ricochet, that's a guy who can work that style, and the fans cared. Say whatever you want about this AEW national title or whatever. These fans gave a fuck. These fans care about the MLW. Remember, MLW has this openweight title, and Ultimo Guerrero defends his title. And these fans give a fuck about this man winning this MLW title. I mean, nobody in America could give two fucks about the MLW openweight title or whatever. But in Arena Mexico, they give a lot of shits about that title. And here, this AEW national title, this is nothing happening national title that just kind of thrown together. They really cared about this a lot. And I thought Ricochet was good at playing subtle heel, but also still doing crazy stuff that he knew that was going to get him cheered a little bit. But that's okay because, go out here and he's in the main event. So go do a spectacular match, have some fun with it. But it's really good. Really, really good stuff. And Ricochet gets the win. And I can't say enough about the performance of Teton, though, over the weekend. He I thought was really, really great. But yeah, this was good.
All right. So, the next night was Arena Coliseo. I love the look of this building, like the circular.
Yeah, I like Coliseo so much better. Arena Mexico is cool because it's like, but Coliseo looks so much cooler. I didn't watch the show though, unfortunately, but I love the look.
Anything on it?
I saw nothing, unfortunately.
All right, so the main event was Bandito and Commander over Mascara Dorada and Mystico, and that's when I started to raise my eyebrows because Roderick Strong beat Defunto a little earlier on the show. Lee Moriarty obviously beat Shelwa in the ROH Pure match. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. AEW's racking up a lot of fucking wins on this tour. And it's always surprising when Mystico loses. But I guess Bandito ended up losing the main event on Sunday. And Teton beat Commander on Sunday as well. And so I guess that AAA got some wins back on the final night. I'm not AAA. CMLL got some wins back on the final night. But this wasn't as good as you would think on paper. It was flashy. They did all their fucking shit. A lot of the crowd turned on Mystico and Dorada. It was, let me put it this way. It was what you would expect out of these four, but not nearly as good as it could have been. Does that make sense?
It does.
And I don't even expect a ton. You know how
No, yeah, we're gonna talk about that here on the Sunday show. Yeah, I see that lineup and I go, but a lot of people see that lineup and go, holy shit, incredible. But yeah, it's like those 3 out of those 4 guys don't ever really land for me on a high level as much as they do for others.
So the best match to me on Saturday was Lee Moriarty and Shelwa. I thought that was fantastic.
I am going to go and watch that one. I am going to watch because I've heard really good things about it too.
They worked ROH Pure Rules. I was concerned that the ref might not know what the fuck was going on, but he did fine. They didn't do any closed fist, so it was easy to keep track of the rope breaks. And they did the finish where Shelwa was out of rope breaks, and Moriarty had him in the submission, and Shelwa's in the ropes, but the ref is powerless to do anything. And he calls for the bell, and I mean, the crowd booed it, but I don't know if it was go-away heat or I don't know if it was the right kind of heat because Moriarty escaped because the guy couldn't. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if the fans were with it and understood or if they were mad because they thought they were getting cheated. I couldn't tell the difference between the booing. Me, as a viewer who knew what was going on, I thought that these two guys had great chemistry together. I mean, the ROH Pure Rules is perfect for Shelwa. That's like right up his fucking alley.
Yeah.
And I thought this was the best match of the second night. I liked it better than the main event. Some people are gonna, I don't know. It's the main event just wasn't as good as all 4 of those guys have better in them. And I'm always not as high on Bandito. I think he's one of the most overrated wrestlers in the world. So to me, that was the best match on the show. So we'll move on to Sunday where you can maybe jump back in for some of it. This was back in Arena Mexico. You're telling me you saw it was a sellout. So
I'm double checking that for you right now, but I'm pretty sure it was. Let me double check though.
All right, so I'll start talking about it then. We're a little over on time. Do you have anything on? Oh, you only watched the top stuff anyway, right?
Yeah, I only watched the final 2. So
okay, so we'll talk about that then. Actually, what I do want to talk about is the Blue Panther and Shelwa versus Lee Moriarty and Virus. Okay, again, loved it. And the finish, Shelwa put this wacky submission on Virus, and Virus was flapping the hands. It was a really cool match. It wasn't as good as the Moriarty singles match with Shelwa, but like I said, CMLL got a lot of wins back here. The CMLL, Lee Moriarty lost in this one. He didn't take the fall, but he was on the losing side. And then Atlantis Jr. won the 3-way with Roderick Strong and Finlay. So that was another AEW guy on the losing side. But again, Finlay took the loss and not Roderick Strong. You know what I mean? So I could see why CMLL fans are a little annoyed. Gates of Agony finally won a match. They teamed with Ricochet. They beat Defunto, Euphoria, and Sobrano Jr. And then it's the 2 matches that you saw. So did you want to talk about them first? It sounded like you had a hot take for the Bandito Templario match.
Yeah, I would say that to me, watching both those matches, I kind of watched them out of order because I wasn't sure how much time I was going to have. So I watched Templario and Bandito first, and I heard really good things about this match. And I just didn't like it at all. Like I had the same Bandito thing you have, and I think we're the 2 people on earth that have this. I never think he's that good. Like I think he's good. Like, I don't think he's a bad worker. I'm not saying Bandito sucks.
The night before when they beat Dorada and Mystico, he hit another fucking sloppy 21 plex.
He always does.
That move fucking sucks. Does he ever successfully hold the bridge? It looks like shit. And it's always the finish, and it looks... he always falls off to the side, or the opponent falls off. The guy's shoulders aren't down or something. It fucking sucks.
I just hate any move that starts with an unrealistic,
unnatural position.
Yeah, it's like the 619. I would argue with people on forums till the day I die about 619. Like, if you're in a match with Rey Mysterio, just don't land on the middle rope, and then you're not going to get hit with it. But every single Rey Mysterio TV match, like he would do the little Hurricane Rod, and then the person would go, oh, let me just drape my head and my arms on this middle rope right here. It's just like, yeah, it's so stupid. But yeah, the 21-plex too is even more preposterous because it's just like, just don't put yourself in that. Just don't grab the top rope.
Don't be leaned over
right.
gold in the rope. But
right.
I could live with it if it ever looked good. It never ever looks good. He does that body slam / Spanish fly, like that flipping body slam, that thing he does from the top rope. Why isn't that his finish? It always looks so much better than the stupid 21-plex. And it just looks more impressive. I understand he can't do it to everyone because he can't do it to, like, in America, some guys are bigger guys. He's not going to be doing that to fucking, pick a giant, like Lance Archer or something. I understand that. So you do something else to him. The 21-plex, if he wants to save it to be like his burning hammer, the thing that he does once a year in a special situation, fine. I can live with it. Maybe if he's only doing it once a year, he'll fucking hit it properly for once. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I pick on this guy all the time.
No,
I just tired of hearing it. I don't.
My thing with Bandito is it feels like his matches are just a series of. Like it's a classic like critique, but it just feels like a series of spots that he's having, and it feels like it's a series of convoluted spots all kind of pieced together to present a good wrestling match because it's got a bunch of really high spectacular, and the stuff he does is spectacular, and the stuff looks great, of course, but it's all like. I don't care. I never feel. I watch a Bandito match and I never feel anything. I never want the guy to win. I never want the guy to lose. I never am intrigued about what's going on in the match. I'm just watching a series of spots of the guy. I don't know if that's just a me thing or whatever. It never lands with me with Bandito. So I watched this match, which got high praise, Templario and Bandito, and I'm like, whatever. And then I watched Teton and Commander, and I was like, Teton and Commander fucking rocked. Like, that blew that match away. And these guys are very natural. Everything they do looks good, and it looks smooth, and it looks like it makes sense. And Bandito, it's like all these spectacular moves, like a lot of them, like he kind of stumbles to get them ready or stumbles to finish them. And I'm like, all right, like if you're going to stumble all the time, maybe don't do all these complicated, convoluted things or whatever. But sure, when he hits them, they look great. I'm no question about it. When he hits his big giant moves or whatever, they all look great when he hits them, but a lot of times he's stumbling around and he's missing them or whatever. And then I watch Teton and Commander and it's like, yes, there we go. This is like smooth, well worked in my mind, high flying lucha libre, and this is what Teton I think is great, and Commander's getting better. A lot better. I mean, he used to be that kind of sloppy guy. He used to be that guy that he would do these convoluted things and he would stumble and he'd trip over himself. You're like, all right, look, brother, if you keep tripping all the time, don't do the rope walk if you're going to fall half the time. Like, figure out something else. But he nails it every time now, and he's gotten a lot better at everything that he does. So I watched those two matches kind of out of order, and I came away super impressed by Teton and Commander and just how fluid everything looked and how natural everything looked, and then just came away yet again just kind of. And Templario is just kind of meh. And I've never been a huge Templario guy, but I don't know. Bandito just always leaves me empty. Just always leaves me wanting more and empty and just kind of emotionless when it's all done. So I felt the same way after this too, and I just feel like I'm the only you and I because I know you're that way too. It's just I don't know. I just don't. I wish I saw what other people saw in Bandito, but I never do. I just never ever do.
He's had some great matches.
Oh, no question. He's not a bad worker. He's just not a great. People put him on this pedestal again, top 10 or what the hell? What was he ranked? Ninth or what? I just don't see him on that level at all.
He's had some great matches, and I liked the Templario match. So we're gonna disagree there. I did enjoy it, and I really liked Teton Commander as well. You didn't notice people booing Teton against Commander, or did you? Not make
a little bit. Yeah, I caught a little bit of that, but I didn't know if there was anything big picture to look at with that.
Yeah, sometimes the CMLL fans could be a little smarky.
Yeah, they get snarky, and they just decide. There's certain times they decide they're going to rally behind somebody or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but so I counted it up. It was 5 wins for each side, and I didn't know what to do with Roddy versus Hechicero, so I threw it out. So if you want to call that an AEW win, it was 6-5. But with the 5 wins on each side, here's the caveat. 2 of the CMLL wins were 3-ways where CMLL wrestlers took the fall from another CMLL wrestler.
Yeah, right.
So that's but you could see that politically they probably did that on purpose, where it was 5-5, and then the one match where it's like, I don't know, what do you consider Hechicero? He works for both. So But yeah, I would think perception-wise, it did feel like AEW got the better of the weekend. But, the two CMLL wrestlers successfully defended the two CMLL titles in the main event of the Sunday show. So that was that. But I got to tell you, I watched the AAA show before I watched these.
I did too.
And the dichotomy was amazing.
I think it's a good thing to do. I think that's a good plan moving forward to do that, because I think if you went from this to that AAA show, you'd have been even more disgusted.
Oh, God. It also made the CMLL shows come across better to me, because it's like I was in heaven. Like, even just watching the openers from the Friday show, I'm like, oh, I'm watching Lucha now. It enhanced everything. And I watched the CMLL shows and I was like, fuck, man, I enjoyed the hell out of all three of these fucking shows. That was a lot of fun. That was I just burned 6 hours, but I enjoyed every fucking minute of those 6 hours. So, yeah, I don't know. I get the criticisms, but I thought it was a fun weekend from my standpoint.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
There you go.
And I love that. I love that. the Gates of that was a great match.
Yeah. Now, see, I didn't love the Gates of Agony. You're on your own on that one.
All right, that's fine.
But yeah, I overall I thought the weekend was super fun.
Yeah, no, it was from what I saw, it was really good. The Friday show was good, and yeah, I want to go check out that Mariota Showa match for the Pier.
You should. It was you'll enjoy Moriarty and Showa.
That's right up my alley.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, so that is it. We have covered everything that is on our list. Again, like we said, FlagshipPatreon.com. If you want more from us, we did 3 Flagship Pluses this week. I have a brand new Tour of the Territories that's up for you. I'll have my final episode of the Tour of the Territories up very soon as well. Week 52, covering AWA from December 31st, 1983. And then you're going to probably get some new stuff from me, new retro stuff from me. It won't be Tour of the Territories. I'm going to find a different way to kind of approach going through historical wrestling and retro wrestling here in 2026. It's just too hard to do the weekly thing with Tour of the Territories. But new episodes of that should be dropping very soon. New things coming your way. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good stuff. I'm working on a couple of them already right now. So you are going to get some retro audio, even if Tour of the Territories is wrapping up. But yeah, Thursday Dynamite review, Friday Impact review, Sunday AAA review. I don't know. Maybe.
Did I talk you into it? Did I talk you into it?
I
was doing a bit.
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no. It's an hour. It's not that hard to watch, and I'm sure it'll infuriate me enough that it'd be good audio. But yeah, maybe I'll dabble in a couple weeks, see how it goes, see what the people think about it. But yeah, plenty of stuff up for you there at FlagshipPatreon.com. $5 tier unlocks the bonus audio. $10 tier unlocks everything we've ever done. So get on that. You can also buy them a la carte, as you mentioned as well. So if you see a piece of content you like, you can buy it for a reduced price. But we definitely recommend subscribing to the $5 or $10 tiers. VoicesOfWrestling.com. Again, that's where you can check out the FSM 50. VoicesOfWrestling.com/Discord. And by this time next week, Joe, we will know the match of the year. The Voice of Wrestling match of the year will be out next Friday. So voting for that ends this Sunday. If you are listening to this right now and you are a wrestling media member and you would like to vote and you've not voted just yet, just reach out to me on however you want, whatever social media platform you want to. You can also email MOTY@voicesofwrestling.com and say, hey, I'd like a ballot. But just note that it does end Sunday. So Sunday at like 11:59 p.m. Central, we're turning off the ballots, so you cannot enter anymore. So again, wrestling media only, no fans. We've had a couple people request ballots, and they've linked their Twitter accounts, and no, that's not going to work. You need to actually real media, like a real website, a podcast, a YouTube channel. We're not a
super,
blog.
Even a personal blog works.
Just something. Just
even
anything.
If you haven't updated it since 2022, it just have something that is pluggable, and a Twitter account is not pluggable.
No, and yeah, you got to. It's something more. You got to have done a podcast, a YouTube video, a blog, a match review blog, is something. Anything. Wrestling media, not just I shit talk people on Twitter.
And I tell you what, you don't even have to be wrestling media. If you're like a newspaper writer that covers
plenty of them vote,
and that's fine. And as long as you're some kind of media. We always say wrestling media, obviously, but yeah, if you're any kind of media, you have a radio show, anything, that'll work too. But yeah, you can't just be some guy with a fucking Blue Sky account. Come on, you gotta have
right.
You gotta have something that because where you're going to plug our shit. So it's mutually beneficial.
Symbiotic, yes. we plug you, you plug us. It works out perfectly how it works. But that is wrapping up this Sunday. So make sure, again, if you're listening to this and you have not voted and you want to vote and you're a media member, just make sure to reach out however you want, whether it's Twitter, Blue Sky, or I said Discord. If you go on the Discord, that's a great way to do it, or just MOTY at voicesofwrestling.com and say, hey, I want a ballot. I need a ballot. Here's my credentials or whatever. That's all we need. And you can get on there and vote. And it's been really fun. It's a really fun countdown so far this year. I can tell people 1 and 2 seem to be kind of locked in, but as far as how they're going to finish is not locked in at all. A couple of votes can swing that.
That's a first for this deep in the process.
It is.
It's usually a little more clear by now.
It is, and so far it is not that clear. 1 and 2 are clear, they're pretty much out there. But yeah, as far as who's going to win out of the 1 and 2, we don't know just yet. And it's one of these other interesting things too, where the match that has the most first place votes is not winning right now, which is always a fun thing. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I always like that too. So we'll see how it plays out. But again, a lot of ballots coming in and a lot of last minute ballots coming too. But by this time next week, we'll know the top 10. We'll know the number 1 and we'll cover that as well. I should note, flagshippatreon.com, we always do a top 10 ballot reveal as well, day early. So if you want to get a day early on the top 10 for match of the year, flagshippatreon.com is the way to do that. But all right, that is it for us. We've gotten enough plugs out of the way. That is Joe Lanza. I'm Rich Craich. Talk to you guys next time. Take care. Bye.
My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hung-Gi AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines, and we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, the Bad, and the Hung-Gi every week on the Voices of Wrestling Network.
Hello, Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network listeners. I am Jeff Hawkins, co-host of Shake Them Ropes, with a very special announcement. If it's been a while or you've never listened to us before, the original gang is back. Myself and Rob McCarran, back talking wrestling. We have no idea where this show's going to go, where we're going to keep any of the old bits or any of the old things in there. It's going to be a process. It's going to be a journey, and we'd like for you to come along with us. Only on Shake Them Ropes on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.